Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Reach out, touch what was once just in your imagination. Don't be shy, it's alright if you feel a little trepidation. Sometimes these things don't need explanation.
Happy Die Hard season, everybody.
Yeah, hey, remember it was only a year ago that we were debating, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I think we settled that debate.
I think we did too.
Yeah.
Go and listen to the episodes to find out. Or rather, don't. Maybe they're really rough. I don't know.
Chances are.
Chances are. I know so someone was saying they were listening to the Die Hard one recently.
Really?
I was like, oh, okay.
What'd they think?
I don't know. I think they liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they laughed.
They're probably
no, I remember now. It was Yuki was telling me her boyfriend Nico was listening.
Okay.
And he was on the Die Hard, and that he really was laughing at the cinematography jokes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, see
stuff.
that there's still classic riffs in those old episodes.
Yeah, there's gold to be found in those hills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's go around the table and do our Walter Brennan impressions.
Okay.
All right, go. You already did.
I did mine.
Yeah. Shoot, I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah. There's gold in them there hills, Duke. Yeah. All right. No one else is here in the room, so that'll be that. Walter Brennan. They had to change the rules of the Academy Awards because he kept winning the Best Supporting Actor because he was really big, like tight with the unions. And then they had to change it so that like Teamsters couldn't vote because they kept he won it like 3 times. He still has the record, I think. Anyway, he was a bad man apparently also. Yeah. But who knows why? Him, Lexi Alexander, we don't remember what these people did, right? It's not important.
They're lost to time.
Exactly.
Like tears in the rain.
Yeah. Who else is a bad man? Oh yeah, that Jordan fellow. Remember him? He keeps texting me like, make like 7:30, my king. It's like I haven't even recorded the fucking episode yet.
I'm glad we excommunicated him.
Yeah, he's never allowed back. Yeah, and like for good reason, right?
Yeah,
he's pestering us. It's harassment. Oh, what's that?
What was that? Oh.
Is it a knock at the door?
Someone's left a package on the door of the studio.
It's a huge package.
Yeah.
It's sizable.
This must...
As Scorsese said about Brendan Fraser, it's got that girth.
Yeah.
It's got that girth.
Did you order anything of such a large size?
I didn't order anything to the studio.
No.
I don't know the mailing address.
This might be, I got a beanbag chair. Maybe it's my beanbag chair.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Yeah. All right, let's open it up. This is theater of the mind. This is me crinkling the paper. Oh wow, it's a giant chocolate Jordan. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wait, I can hear something. I can hear a little laughter. What is that? Alex, get the chocolate hammer. Yeah, thank you.
I have a chocolate circular saw.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey! Speak of the devil.
I'm back!
Oh, no. It's a mogwai. Hello, Jordan.
Gizmo.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, get right in there. Yeah.
I'm in here.
That's good.
Yeah.
Welcome back. See, all this animosity, it's just fake. It's just
theater.
It's just theater.
Yeah.
Can I tell you the one time I felt real about that the animosity was real?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was, and I don't think this was even planned as part of you like trying to antagonize me.
Nothing
but at
is
one
really
point,
planned.
I forget which episode it was. You said Jordan watches a normal amount of movies. You were like talking about people who watch too many movies.
Oh. Yeah, but I corrected myself, didn't I? Because I'm pretty sure right after I said, actually, no, you watch a lot of movies.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't.
No?
You said, no, Alex said I watch a lot of movies. And then you said, no, he watches a normal amount of movies.
We're going to have to go check the tapes on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
know.
I know how I know. Well, you're right. You do listen to it.
And listen, I don't want to come in here and say I'm a big movie watcher.
You watch a lot of movies. I know this.
Yeah.
A normal amount of movies is like 2. You
What,
know, the
2
average, I think the average.
to a
day.
No, like
to a year.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you go. The average person goes to the movies twice a year.
Sure. Okay.
I watch more than that.
Yeah, you watch way
That's
more
not.
than that.
Yeah.
That's the normal amount.
Yeah, but you know what?
So
Like,
justice for me, please.
No, I completely. I retract the statement, but I also want to just maybe this is a good time to open this conversation up, and we say, you know, what is normal, right? What does normal mean, right? Do you
So
ever think about that?
true.
What like is give us a definition of normal, Alex? You can't. You can't, right?
I wouldn't know it.
Exactly. What's your?
I'm wearing a shirt that says "What's your origin story?"
I thought it
so-
said, "What's your organ story?"
or that.
I thought it was
yeah.
like a.
What's
some
your
sort of
organ
medical
donor
shirt.
story?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, okay.
It is very frustrating following both you guys on Letterboxd and seeing that you see every movie before. I was going to say everyone else, but really before me. Like you guys not only see a lot of movies, but you're on them like really quick, like flies on
we go to
shit.
the movies, yeah. To be clear, we don't have any sort of special access to like movies before they come out, like film critics do. Film critics who, if I may paint with a broad brush, generally seem pretty miserable at like having, despite having like that access and that whatever, and getting paid to see movies and so on, like generally seem like they don't, because they have to see all the garbage,
Multiple in a day. and
Yeah,
usually
all
like
that
one
stuff.
day, they go watch a bunch of movies and then write their reviews like that day.
Yeah.
It does seem like a miserable
And
existence.
The definition of like the job has changed though, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, you could maybe not actually, but like,
We're film critics.
oh, I was about to say you could reasonably call yourself a film critic.
Yeah, sure. Just as much as fucking Owen Gleiberman for Variety.
Don't piss off Owen Gleiberman.
If
I
you're
know.
being
Yes, he does-
published
he's
to
got
write,
shooters, yeah.
if you're being published to write reviews that are, consumer facing movie reviews for like a newspaper,
Yeah.
then you have to suffer like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
people who are doing Patreons and hosting movie podcasts where they
Right.
just talk about whatever
They
the hell
generally
serves
enjoy
their
it.
audience,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it's a different relationship than it used to be to
Yeah.
going to the movies.
Yeah,
I say this with no experience and basically
I-
zero friends who do actual movie journalism.
I think that's true. Yeah, I guess I'm more like thinking of like the the Rotten Tomatoes certified critics who like have
Right.
to like those types of where it's like they are increasingly like rarefied field, right? Because there's like how many staff positions where you're the guy who has to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that many. And then you have Owen Gleiberman or whatever who's like, God, like retire, bitch. It's like he's just keeps going and going. And he put out a worst movies of the year list. And like, sure, whatever, there's some bad movies on there. But then it's like Asteroid City, like worst movie of the year.
yeah.
And his little write-up, right, is like, I know, I should draw more attention to this, but the write-up is basically like, well, like I didn't get it. You know what I mean? Which is just like, that's your job as like a film critic, is to like go a little further than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Did you see what was Richard Brody dunking on, and by way of dunking on it, comparing it to Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Oh yeah. Fuck. Oh, multiverse something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I did see that though. Yeah.
That made me chuckle.
I know. Always got to read Richard Brody. He's great.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
Even when he does that thing he does all the time where he's like, this movie, is an abomination. Because it didn't do the thing I wanted it to do. It did something different, which I know he gets like taken to task for a lot, but a lot of times he's not wrong, right? I enjoyed his review of The Sweet East. That's the last one I just read because I saw that movie last night.
How was it?
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was really fun. I actually because the marketing has been really like obnoxious and like, without saying any names, like the people involved in the movie online are, kind of leaning into it and like being like, this is like fucking edgy and this is like,
The Sweet East.
post-ironic. Yeah, the Sweet
Did you
East.
see, how was your boy J.E.?
J.E.?
Yeah,
Who? Who's
never
this?
mind.
No, you got to tell me. You
Jacob
gotta tell me.
Elordi?
Oh, Jacob
Yeah.
Elordi. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know how I didn't put that together.
Is he in Sweet East?
He's in the Sweet East.
Ben's
Oh,
got
yeah.
a Lordy fever.
I
The world has Elordi.
just feel,
That's true.
he's been in.
Remember the band Lordy? They
of
won
course,
the
yeah.
Eurovision for their song Hard Rock Hallelujah, and they kind of had a guar gimmick.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lord.
Yeah.
Remember the band Lord?
the New Zealand, yeah. The New Zealand lady.
We could be royals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Terrible song.
I like that song.
No.
I think it's
I'm just
good. I think
kidding.
if you're talking about mega like pop radio mega hits, I would be much happier with that coming on than a lot of songs.
No, it's good. I
And-
sometimes I'll just say something. I don't really mean it.
Bruce Springsteen did a cool cover of it.
Oh
Ooh,
God.
okay, well,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, where he
There you go.
because the song has like a working class theme to it,
yeah.
and then at one point she goes, "You can call me Queen Bee," right?
Yeah.
So when he goes, "You can call me King Bee," everyone goes like,
King
"Yeah!"
Bee.
Everyone starts like it's like a big applause moment. It's like when if you ever listen to the live Leonard Cohen albums when he goes, "I was born like this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had no choice. I was born with the gift of a golden voice," and everyone goes crazy.
Yeah.
I got to cheer for that live once. It was
I did too.
wonderful.
Me too. Yeah. Hey, we've
Look at
all
us.
been in the presence of LC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should all three-way smush our penis heads together.
Yeah, why he's just like he would have wanted.
Yeah, create that heart logo.
Yeah. You wanted it harder. That was what his last song.
You want it
right?
harder.
You want it, you want it harder.
How was the Sweeties? How
Yeah,
was Jacob
okay.
Elordi? Did you see Shelby?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and she said that you said that I was coming.
Yeah.
You gave her warning that I was going to be there. Yeah.
I was like going, "Look out! It's Godzilla!"
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
can
about
talk
you.
about that too. I did see Shelby, and we talked about it after, and all the regular Toronto film scenester folks were there. All the expected people, and I could definitely feel it in the rooms. Like not everybody was enjoying it. But what I was saying is with this marketing and all this, like I think I kind of expected it to be like, I don't know, really like noxious and in your face and really like I don't know, like edgelordy or whatever. And like there's definitely some stuff like that, but a lot that not in the way that I like had anticipated. I agree with some of the things that Richard Brody said in his review, and I don't get into it too much or whatever. But overall, I think it's fun. I think it's like also, well, if there's one thing about it, it's like movies where, like indie movies where the creators will make it and they're like, oh, it's not really meant to be taken seriously. And there's kind of a smug sort of attitude where it's like we can just do this or toss that out there, like do this provocation. But like if you take it seriously, like you're a loser. It's not the point. There's a little bit of that, which is like annoying, but there's also some pretty funny jokes and some good performances, including Jacob Elordi. I could give a big spoiler. No one wants a big spoiler, right? No one wants a big spoiler. No one wants a big spoiler. Anyway, it's funny. There's something funny happens to him that a clip we could all replay over and over. That's very funny. Yeah. Cool. And you're right. It has been. I do have a Lordy fever because, of course, I encountered him in the flesh. I've told this before many times, several times. Yeah. Don't give me that look. at least twice. And he's very tall. And I did gulp. Gulp.
Like dirty bathwater.
Kinda. Yeah.
You gulped down his.
Oh, his
dirty
yeah, no,
bathwater.
of course. Well, so I see him in the flesh, and when he was here filming Priscilla, then I see Priscilla, and then I see fucking Saltburn, and then this. Like he's got a small part in this, right? But it's like, wow, like that's a lot of Lordy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of the Lordy, and but I ain't complaining. And did you see Saltburn or no? No.
I have no plan or desire to.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it for free. You maybe
watch
want to
it for
watch
free.
it, but for free.
Oh yeah, it's fun to watch for free.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But if anybody gets out of it alive, like Jacob Elordi gives like a actually really good performance in it. Unexpected.
I've heard good things about many of the performances in that film.
I heard good things about Rosamund Pike.
I think
same.
she's really bad in it.
Great.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think Carey Mulligan is really bad in it. I think Richard E. Grant is great because he's like I like him a lot, and he kind of fits the mold a little
Jacob
bit.
Elordi and Richard E. Grant are good in it, and Carey Mulligan and Rosamund Pike are bad in it.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
Wait, what about Barry Keoghan?
Barry Keoghan is.
He's going to say he's good in it.
No,
Do you know why?
No.
Do you know
no,
why?
no.
How this is breaking down?
Well, yes, you're right. And do you know what type of person directed the
Oh,
film?
and do you think she's a good director?
No.
Interesting, Ben.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, everyone's bad in it. It's bad.
Okay.
I don't think Barry Keoghan is good in it either. I think he's
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Men can be bad too, but not as bad as women. As seen in Promising Young Women. Yeah. You started this.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm sorry. It's
You're
not
right.
a good bit.
No, it's not. It's not. What other movies have we seen recently? Starting with Alex.
Well, I've been playing catch up with you guys, but earlier this
You'll
week,
never catch up.
I know it's true. I watched the Super Mario Brothers movie.
What? Why?
Oh.
With kids.
Oh, I'm excited to talk with you about this because you also recently watched the original one, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting a big talk about it, but yes, the new one stinks. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it was totally just a rickety vehicle to get from one, throwback to the video game after the other, but they were just done super poorly. It could have been fun, like a Mario Kart sequence. By all accounts, should have been pretty interesting and exciting and whatnot, but it's all just very, very boring, not funny at all. And just barely a movie, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were like a couple nods to Donkey Kong Country 64, which I appreciated because I used to love Donkey Kong Country. Like you see Chunky Kong in the audience once, and I was like, oh, it's Chunky Kong.
There he is.
And you hear a bit of the DK rap.
Yep. Yep.
But compared to the 1990s one, this was just milquetoast fluff. Whereas the 1990s one is really something to behold, it's like the intellectual property itself went through a mushroom warp pipe and wound up in this like strange, different place,
In that film, at least, there's always something to look at.
Yeah.
Totally, and something to like mull over. And
I would say often too many things to look at.
Yeah. And just like a decision to scratch your head about, like why make Yoshi a baby raptor
Yeah.
that gets stabbed with a pair of scissors, Like
Yeah.
it's...
We can only hope that Illuminate, or no, I guess is it still Illuminate? No, the live action Zelda movie. Sorry,
The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, not the Dawn of there's a new Planet of the Apes coming out. It's the same director.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah.
And I mean, this is like a popular talking point,
Yes.
but I did just see The Boy and the Heron,
Oh.
and nothing makes me feel more like they need. They
Yeah.
should not be doing a live action Zelda.
No.
And maybe like it's totally understandable to me that Studio Ghibli will do whatever it wants to do and doesn't have to take on an IP
Yeah.
thing from Nintendo. But it's Nintendo should be trying really hard to make
Yeah.
them.
It's perfect.
Right?
It
They
would-
should be throwing their weight around and trying to get that to happen.
Because I remember, people, like we were talking about that and whatever before they announced the live action movie, but I'm pretty sure I saw the someone bring it up to the director and he was like, yeah, I'm really going for like a, Princess Mononoke Spirited Away vibe. And it's like, well, no, you're not. You can't. It's not possible to do that unless you're working with the people who did that. Yeah. So
Did you like Boy and the Heron?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta see
Nice.
that.
It's I have something to say about the Mario movie too, but The Boy and the Heron is, I think, beautiful. I mean, it looks amazing, obviously, and the storytelling, I think, is actually really strong. It's something that I was hearing going into it, that it was hard to follow, but it's simply a matter of accepting what's on screen and just being able to like let it happen. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's actually ties into the Mario movie to me.
Okay.
Because the Mario movie cannot let the audience understand
Right.
that the Mario world just exists. It has to provide, it has to canonize everything.
This new one.
Yeah, this new
It's-
one.
yeah,
it's
it's
so
so
frustrating
frustrating. Yeah.
because when you play a Mario game, the most popular and iconic series of games ever,
Yeah.
right? You just open it up and Mario's in the Mushroom Kingdom jumping on Goombas.
Yeah.
And the audience is willing to accept that. And there's just to me, no reason why we have to have endless scenes of exposition explaining stuff.
For Mario, it drove me crazy.
Yeah, it's really bad.
There was actually a scene where Peach, ATJ, shout outs to her.
Yes, I know you love her. Yeah.
She says, like, if you get hit, you lose your power up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like everybody knows this. Like, you can't even argue this is for the parents who maybe aren't familiar with the games. Everyone's familiar with fucking Mario.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
It's infuriating. And even stuff like, well, why is Peach here? Oh, she has an origin story. Or you know, Mario has daddy issues. It all was just complete. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then when you watch the 1991
I think so.
film,
Somewhere around there.
it's totally it's not telling a coherent or interesting story, right?
No.
There's problems with that movie, many,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
at least it's like taking this thing and trying to be creative with it, you know?
Yeah.
And
It has ideas.
Yeah.
Instead of the animated one, which goes out of its way to not have ideas.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly what you're seeing at any given time and explains it. And like for babies, like jingling keys for babies. It's like,
Yeah.
But
you know,
okay,
like-
so this is I guess where I would push back against that. Mario jumping around in the Mushroom Kingdom is jingling keys for babies.
Right.
You don't need to like set up that he's actually from like a family that doesn't think plumbing will work out. You don't need to set up why he's talking or not talking in a goofy Italian accent.
Right.
Like
yes.
all that stuff. You don't need to set up that. Every bit of it was like completely misguided, I think. Obviously, I'm wrong because they made tons of money and that's all they wanted.
$1 billion.
Right? Yeah. It's the highest grossing or second highest grossing film of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Number one is Maestro.
But God, it frustrated me watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, this is maybe less important, but they sidelined Luigi for too much of that film. And
I agree.
love Luigi.
I know.
He's the best character in the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Luigi or Dry Bones.
Would you say in fiction?
In fiction. Dry Bones is a stronger character in fiction.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dracula, Dry Bones, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to see 2001: A Space Odyssey in 70mm yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that maybe is the best movie experience I've had all year or in my life.
Right.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
done that before.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
same. We were talking
unbelievable.
about that the if you ever get a chance to see the roadshow presentation, 70mm or otherwise, but ideally like 70mm, where like you walk in and the red curtain is up,
Yeah.
and they're playing the overture, and you sit down and they, you watch the movie with the intermission. Not that you necessarily need it. It's really not that long. Not as long as I like remembered it being as a kid, but it's just like perfect. It's so perfect.
Especially if you see it in 4DX.
yeah,
And they
of
blast
course.
you with
Yeah.
colors during
Yeah. Well, I do want to drop acid and go see it at some point, but maybe I'll just do that at home.
I've never watched a movie high before.
Yeah.
2023 was my year I decided to experiment with drugs for the first time. So that was also my first time watching a movie high.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it
From
was,
weed,
Yeah.
to be specific. Yeah.
It was magic.
Yeah.
It really, it's a beautiful way to experience that movie.
And then you rushed uptown to Wonka, and I imagine the hits of the weed probably were worn off by then. And then you get in that point where you're like, I'm not really high, but I wouldn't say I'm sober. And now I'm watching Wonka. I'm fucking Wonka. Because when you said that, I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's a great experience. And I was like, oh, man, poor Jordan. He's got to sit through this now, Like, as whatever. Maybe it took the edge off. Who knows? Wonka, edgy movie. Yeah. Not in the same way as Sweet East, but, it's yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed that. When do you think the last time you'd seen 2001 was?
Oh, I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey now twice in my life.
Oh, wow.
And the first time I saw it, I was maybe 12, maybe 13.
Yeah.
I had one of those very light, cheap, portable DVD players.
Yeah.
It was sitting on my lap. Mom was driving us through the countryside.
Yeah.
It was a really bright day out, and I had
That's the way to see it, baby.
bad headphones on.
Yeah.
And I really distinctly remember not being able to see the screen very well, not being able to hear what was going on very well, and also it's a film with lots of silence in it.
Yeah.
And it was the worst experience. I've had the worst and best experience watching 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
A rapturous movie.
Yeah.
Like a truly moving and like soul stirring experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies, like when people are still sharing the like sight and sound ballots that people had put up or whatever, right? Out of all of the ones that are on all the boring lists, like the ones that are just canonical, like classics or whatever, I don't know. I think about 2001 probably the most out of any of those. Like,
Well, one of the things that I came away from that movie thinking was what a all around W that like the fact that this film was made,
yep.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's a technical marvel, but even just somebody with or a group of people with the vision to do a movie with that deals with like images and sounds the way that film does, right? Incredible creatively, right? The fact that it was a popular film that was a hit, right? Good for us.
Yeah.
The fact that we went and that it's still like an iconic mainstream beloved film.
Yeah.
When you watch it, you think, oh, people like movies like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
People-
in masses.
Yeah.
People like this movie.
People can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
A great, like we should all be patting ourselves on the back that it got made and that we
Let's.
all enjoyed it.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we all should. I'm the only one who's going to do it. All right. That's fine. I remember, my that was one that my dad showed my brother and I probably like close to when DVDs the first DVD would have come out probably. I think, or maybe it was on a tape. I don't remember. But I remember him being like, okay, like, I don't know. I was probably 11 or 12, right? And he was like, all right, like, there, this is like one of the movies like of all time, but like it's a lot different than any movies you've probably seen, and there's gonna be some parts, especially at the beginning, where it's gonna be a little slow and you're not really gonna know where it's going, but you just gotta like give into it. And in so many words, I don't remember exactly what he said. And I remember, we're getting through, the like first section, and my brother and I were kind of like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? All these apes. But by the end of it, I think both of us, I don't remember, I can't speak for David, but I think both of us were like, oh, holy shit. It's like, even as a kid, you don't really, I don't think, understand a lot of the like ideas behind it, but even just like as a like audio visual experience, like it's undeniable. Like you could show a baby that movie, I'm sure they would like it. Jingling Kubrick, the master of jingling keys for the baby. Anyway,
but it was also so great, to watch it as a young kid and then see a movie. Like it was probably one of the first movies I saw that like, didn't bother explaining anything you were seeing to you.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh wow, like because up until that point, my familiarity with sci-fi was probably like Star Wars, which is more space opera than anything.
Right.
So it was great to see something that actually felt alien and from like another dimension or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you were actually seeing something unknown, which is like what sci-fi like should be or like strive to be. Is like a vision of something we haven't even like dare dream of yet.
Yeah. It reminds me in the way of the feeling you get from watching a really good horror film where it's like something getting beamed into your brain that makes it so that anything that you could logically understand is
scrambled.
Just like for like 2 hours you believe in demons and you think you're gonna die. Watching a good horror movie and watching 2000 like the shot of the monolith and the apes running up to touch it and that choral, that like terrifying dissonant choral music is just rising up, and it becomes unbearably loud. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's just so many, they'll just give you like 3 or 4 shots in a row of a beautiful matte painting set to silence, and you just luxuriate in it. it's maybe the strongest I could recommend making sure you see a screening of it if you ever have the opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I don't know how many times I'd seen it, but like when they did that Kubrick retrospective in like whatever 2014 or 2015 or whatever, I tried to see as many of them as possible in theaters, like including 3 of the big ones that I hadn't seen: Spartacus, Barry Lyndon, and Eyes Wide Shut. And I was able to see those all in the theater, like on most, at least 1 or 2 of them were on prints as well. And I don't know. I mean, it's just the ideal way to see any movie, but like especially movies that are so like specifically crafted. Like here we are, fucking blowing smoke up Stanley Kubrick's ass. I know,
like we're the first people to do it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's that good, right?
Well,
that's why, like sorry, but.
We watched Goodbye Dragon Inn together recently.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Similarly kind of moving, although not as like grand and operatic, obviously, right? Even though, funny enough, it's a film that's in dialogue with a grand opera, Dragon Inn. Yeah. And just the understanding that actually films that move this slowly, or at least a film that moves this slowly and is this like maybe seemingly inaccessible, has become a cultural phenomenon. Like we can do this.
Yeah,
we're fine. You know? People will watch movies like that. They're beautiful.
I agree. Yeah. I think people can handle Goodbye Dragon Inn as well.
Yeah, totally. It's a beautiful film.
If you nod off, it's okay.
I've seen it before, so I felt fine that I was falling asleep a little bit. But also that film, what happens is you see an image, and it's a beautiful image, and you have a lot to dream about. Yeah. And you fall asleep for 10 minutes and wake up, and you're like, oh, there's that beautiful image again.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And every time you open your eyes, you have something beautiful to look at. Yeah. And you're dazing off, comfortable and gentle with your friends around you. That was a really nice way to watch that movie for me.
Well, we were talking about, I don't know, some like Twitter prompt or something. It was like best like movie experiences you've had. And definitely like watching the like Hong Kong and Taiwanese classics with some friends has been great. Especially... well, I mean, they've all been good. Like, I don't know. All been great.
What's interesting about those Ben, at my birthday, like a year ago, my birthday of 2022, when I turned 32, I had a group of friends. We went to the Markham Fair, and then we hung out in my parents' backyard and watched. Yeah.
Oh, which was actually on my birthday as well. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. And we watched Encounter of the Spooky Kind. Yeah. And other than, I think maybe I might have said this on the podcast before. Oh! But maybe not. But those films are designed to be watched it's like popular entertainment.
Definitely said that before.
You got to watch it with a group of people, and I just hadn't watched it with big groups before.
Yeah, it was great.
My experiences with those movies was always watching them with my brothers, right?
Right.
Hong Kong action movies. So after that, I realized I need to watch these movies with groups of people because they're for like audiences. Oh yeah. So then Ben and myself and a few other friends have been getting together a couple times a year, basically. It was once a month for a while, but it's slowed down a little bit to like watch a couple. And it's been so much fun.
Yeah, like really great. Yeah. And like interspersing the action ones with I don't know, like Yi and like and Goodbye Dragon Inn and
even like A Touch of Zen.
A Touch of Zen, definitely,
which has 2001: A Space Odyssey vibes.
Yeah, serious. Yeah. Especially the last
hour.
Yeah.
Very intentionally.
Amazing.
Yeah. Incredible film.
Well, let's see. Did I watch something bad? Because we should talk about something bad.
Conversely, the opposite of Super Mario Brothers, I also rewatched The Iron Giant for the first time in a long time.
Oh.
I don't know the last time you guys watched that one.
Not for ages, but...
But it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's great. Beautiful animation and just like a super touching story. Yeah. And one of Vin Diesel's best performances.
Easily.
Yeah. That famous like ending, Superman. It's really affecting.
Yeah. No following. Oh my God, so beautiful.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just looking through what I've been watching recently on my Letterboxd. Yeah. And Miracle Mile I saw.
Oh, great movie. Yeah, I saw you saw that. Yeah,
I went with Erica
really, really good.
and we watched Miracle Mile.
Was it playing
Shout
somewhere,
out
or was
Erica.
it-
No, she
Oh,
has
yeah.
it on VHS.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So
Oh,
we
that's
watched
perfect
it on
way
a
to watch
VHS tape.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. The way that film handles, because I knew what, like, kind of the word of mouth around that film that you
Right.
always hear is like, what happens in it? Like, it
Yeah.
feels to me like the plot. You have to spoil it for someone to get them to watch it almost. Like,
Yeah, I
you should
agree.
watch this movie. It's insane the way that these twists happen, right?
Yeah,
So I kind of knew going in, but the way it handles the development of the film from like being a romance film to being
Yeah.
a nuclear war film,
Yeah, it's
and
great.
then the famous ending is
Yeah,
it's really effective. It's
the
very
ending is
funny,
insane.
and it's never it's the tone works because it's like a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not unserious, but it's not like a grave feeling film.
It's kind of
right?
like After Hours almost in a way. Like
Yeah.
it's not funny in the same way, but it's
Felt to me actually a lot like Last Night,
yeah,
the
yeah,
Don McKellar film.
100%.
Yeah, I watched The Long Arm of the Law as well.
Oh, what's that?
That's it's a Hong Kong movie. It was a big hit. It's from '84, and it's about mainland Chinese
Oh yeah.
gangsters going to Hong Kong to do a crime and then going back into mainland China, because what is like comparatively like a normal amount of money in Hong Kong, if you like do a heist and take it back to mainland China, and mainland China you're rich, right?
Yeah.
So they want to go to Hong Kong. So there's obvious ways that film is dealing with relations between mainland China and Hong Kong, and with capitalism and the development of like China's agrarian society and the Cultural Revolution into like a more modern like capitalist society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all that is really fascinating and effective. But this was my takeaway from that film, because one of the things that you kind of always hear applied to Hong Kong films, especially as the 80s go on, is like, oh, this is actually about the handover.
Yeah.
And that's a very Western cultural context to put it in.
Yeah, it
right?
has to be about that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's about many other things. And one of the things it's about is incredible violence.
Yeah.
And the ending of it ends with this incredible sequence shot in the Kowloon walled city, right? And obviously like a location unlike any that's ever existed, right? And so having like a 30-minute action scene of like incredibly intense violence, of people chasing each other down these narrow corridors, up and down flights of stairs in like the most kind of dense and strange urban environment possible. It it's really good. It's great. Yeah, I would really highly recommend it.
Yeah, I will watch it. I know, and there's this a sequel, right? To like
There's actually 4 of them, I think.
Okay, well, put it on the list, baby. Yeah. Sorry, Austin Powers. Hit the showers.
Take a
kid.
hike.
Yeah.
Take a hike, Powers.
Okay. Well, yeah. Oh, okay. I watched a bad movie. The Leave the World Behind. That was on Netflix. It's the Obama produced End of the World movie. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, okay. First off, like I don't think we've talked about this before, but it's very funny, like that. Barack and Michelle Obama, like their like post presidency careers, like were like content creators, like like media producers and so on, as opposed to whatever, like I don't know, Jimmy Carter building homes or whoever, or George Bush painting his horrid memories,
They bought Twisted Pictures.
Would you? Yeah, of course. Would you want a George W. Bush original if I bought one for you? Would you hold it in? Would you hang it in your house, or do you think that would like bring bad vibes to the place?
I was gonna say, I think it'd bring bad vibes. It'd be haunted.
Yeah. Okay. I'll return it.
The novelty of having one sounds kind of cool. Like, oh, that's a George W. Bush original.
Yeah.
But would it be worth it?
No, I don't think so. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is this is somewhere in between, building homes for the needy and painting the war crimes you did, So 2 stars. No, it's okay. I don't know. It's just a weird movie for an ex-president to like executive produce and give story notes on. Like it's about like whatever, like America being attacked and like at the end of this like some sort of apocalypse, like spread of disinformation and like all this stuff, and it's like I don't know,
on the nose.
Yeah, well, it's just the thing that the funniest angle is like the people who like the like mush brain like psychos online who are like, okay, Obama's warning us for this is the text like for the next like 10 years. Like they're I forgot what the word is, but they're like soft like programming it into our heads. It's like, okay, prepare for this because this is what's going to happen. And it's like what, like how could you, what kind of person like would believe that seriously, being like why would that, like why would he make that? Why wouldn't he just let whatever happens happen?
Yeah.
Instead of spending millions of dollars to make a movie about it?
Because it's more fun to live in a fantasy world where they do release cryptic ciphers that we have.
It's just it's so funny, and then whatever, like the EMP attack on America, where like all our devices are fucked and whatever happens, and Obama comes on the like emergency broadcast and he's like I told you, he's like I tried to warn you, but nobody watched it. Like nobody has Netflix. Everybody when they started canceling the plans because you were sharing passwords, nobody watched my movie. I tried to warn all of you.
It was all there.
It was all there.
And what's the movie called?
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind.
But I have to tell you, the end of the movie, and can I spoil the end of the movie? No,
I'm probably not going to watch.
You're probably not going to watch it. It's not a spoiler, like whatever. I'm just telling you the actual like end of the movie, like final shot of the movie, is that one of the subplots is that, and this is why the movie is good.
Wait a minute, can I guess what the final shot is?
Sure.
It's Obama at a Monster Hunter convention. At a Monster Hunter convention. Yeah.
Conducting.
He's delivering the keynote address.
Yeah.
In Thailand.
Yeah. No. Obama and Mrs. Obama do not appear in the movie. But their names are in the opening credits, which is very funny because it's like, it's like there's no hiding it. Like this is produced by the ex-president. There's part of the movies that one of the kids of the family, has been watching Friends, like the TV show, on like a streaming service. And now that all
Better
the devices,
be Netflix.
Yeah, and I should say to you that this obviously this movie was being made before Matthew Perry died, right?
Right.
Ketamine, man, fuck. When I found that out, I gotta change my life, man. I'm just kidding, but also fuck, something to think about. But he did it in the bath in the hot tub, so he drowned, right?
It's a dangerous mix.
It's a really dangerous mix, yeah. But I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he thought he knew what he was doing, but it's just like, damn.
Yeah, he thought he was relaxing.
I know.
Hard.
Yeah, it's fucked.
I'm not sure I understand this. I mean, I think it's maybe a little bit morbid, but it says he died of acute effects of ketamine. But he drowned.
He drowned.
So is this just like anti-drug bullshit?
There was a Vice article, naturally, because everybody who writes for Vice has done ketamine at least once.
They ask you during your job interview. They're like, "Do you do ketamine?
You do ketamine?
Do it right now.
Do it right now. Yeah, it feels good." No, I read in that there was some other thing where like a doctor or medical examiner or whatever said, like, to be clear, if he was not in a body of water, he probably would not have died. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because he drowned.
Yeah. He drowned in because he like K-holed and drowned. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously there's unsafe ways to use drugs. Right?
Definitely.
And it's good to have someone to be with somebody.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But he didn't die of ketamine.
If anything, he died of hot tubs. They can be dangerous.
Yeah.
You stay in them for long enough.
He died of hot tub.
It's sad.
It's really sad.
it seems a little bit like propaganda.
I agree. I when I saw it, it felt a little alarmist. Like,
Yeah.
And I.
Like Dolores O'Riordan, right? She drowned in her tub. She's the singer from the Cranberries.
Oh, yeah.
She was drinking,
right.
right? She was drinking in her tub and she drowned,
Yeah.
right? They didn't say she died of alcohol poisoning, right?
Yeah. She drowned.
She drowned. It's really sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I this is just like a gut reaction.
No,
like
I know.
seeing
I know what you
reports
mean.
of him dying, being like, oh, his cause of death has been revealed. It was due to like ketamine.
Yeah,
and it's
because
like,
and it's
he
part of
drowned.
part of the narrative around him that it's like, oh well, naturally he died of drug overdose because he was a drug addict.
People jumped to that right away.
Yeah.
when it was reported, right?
Yeah.
And, like, people obviously like have narratives built up around like him and being a drug user, and also just like the consequences of being a drug user in general, right?
Yeah.
And dangers associated with it. And I wouldn't like deny that like K-holing in a bathtub sounds dangerous, right?
Definitely.
But like
Definitely.
it's misreporting, or to me seems inaccurate to say that he died from using ketamine. Like he died from drowning in a hot tub.
Yeah, I agree.
know.
I mean, no, I thought like in seeing some of the kind of like whatever like moral panic around it online has been kind of disheartening. Like, like I don't, obviously there's not really any such thing as like a 100% safe drug to use or whatever, but I think ketamine already has a lot of like misconceptions that around it that I think this only will make things worse, right? Because there is, especially now that there's a lot of like legitimate, you know what I mean? Like medically approved like ketamine therapy uses for depression, which is what he was doing as well. Although this was also like obviously recreational on top of that, but yeah, it's very sad, and it's like frustrating too. Like, yeah. But anyway,
So what's the end of the movie?
About the end of the movie. Yeah, about the end of the movie.
There's a kid watching Friends.
The kid, okay, the kid's been watching Friends, but because all the devices are gone, she can't stream Friends anymore, and she only had one episode left. The finale of Friends, the famous finale of Friends. So they go through the whole movie. I don't remember what the fuck happened. Yeah. I don't remember what happened. I was pretty checked out. I like after the movie, partway through the movie, I'm like, this is fucking, who gives a shit? But then the end really perked me back up, because one of the things that happens, like, I don't remember 100%, but she finds like a stranger's house or whatever that's like been abandoned, and she walks into the house. This is like the last scene of the movie. She walks into the house and she goes to the living room and she sees a giant shelf of DVDs, like in my own apartment, like a giant shelf of movies. And she sees Friends, and she pulls it out and she puts in the DVD. She puts in the DVD in the DVD player, and it comes up on the TV. And the last shot is her smiling, being like, "I finally get to watch Friends." And I was like, okay, I don't remember or give a shit about anything that happened before this, but now that the movie is ending and saying, DVDs, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way forward.
Obama.
Yeah, you have to own your physical media. It's a doomsday preparation, which is very funny. Yeah, I would say also shout out to a friend of the pod, Gwen, who was talking about that online, which was very funny. Just this whole idea of like, I'm an archivist. Like my like Blu-ray addiction, I'm an archivist. Like I'm saving these for the next generation.
No Doomsday Bunker is complete without the complete series of Friends.
Yes.
The Simpsons.
Yes.
Well, that's maybe asking a lot.
That's coming out eventually. Whenever that comes out.
The Sopranos.
45 seasons. Yeah. The Wire.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah. Oh, but you gotta have two copies of The Wire. You gotta have the DVD copy that's in the correct 4:3 aspect ratio, and the HD copy where it's widescreen for some reason, and they had to go in and digitally paint out fucking the boom mic operators. Shout out Alex. Yeah.
Shout out Alex.
Not that. Not the shout out Alex. Shout out Alex. The other Alex. That's a deep cut for the true fans. Masters of the Universe. I'm not gonna talk about that.
I watched Suburbia. Did you guys ever watch Suburbia, the Richard Linklater movie from the mid-90s?
Oh no, I've seen the Penelope Spheris one, but not the.
I haven't seen that one.
What was it like? I've always wanted to watch that, but
It was the most Gen X film I'd ever seen.
That's what I was kind of worried about.
It's super duper Gen X, and that comes with both the good and the bad of it, you know. Like, and it's written by Eric Bogosian, based on a play that he wrote.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting because it's definitely his most cynical of the kind of like. I guess it's not really nostalgic because it was made in the 90s and set in the 90s, but like, you know, I'm like, oh, a Richard Linklater 90s movie, you think like maybe it'll be kind of lighthearted, like Dazed and Confused or something. It's not. It's quite cynical. It's quite dark. But it's interesting. Like, I think the whole cast, it's very theatrical, and that the whole cast of characters are like super flawed. Sometimes they're profound. Sometimes they're profoundly stupid. But it was definitely an interesting watch. I enjoy, and Giovanni Ribisi goes full frontal. Ribisi?
Yeah.
Ribisi? How do you pronounce it?
I think both are acceptable.
Well, he goes full frontal. So
Whoa!
you see his little repeepee.
Nice. Yeah. All right. I'm queuing it up.
Worth a watch.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know what you thought about it.
I've been meaning to watch. I want to see all of Linklater's movies, like even the really junky ones. I went to the theater rolled out to the theater for
Bernie?
Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Bernie's good. Bernie's good.
I remember enjoying Bernie.
Where'd You Go, Bernadette?
I haven't seen it.
Fuck off. Yeah. Do you know where she went? Turns out she went to Antarctica. It's not like Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Like you know, where's my mind? Where's my love? Where's my purpose? No. Where'd she go? She went over there. She went to Antarctica. Boring movie. Boring movie. Bad movie. In the theater with friends.
Sucks
and we
to
walked
hear.
out and we were like, what the fuck was that? Who gives a shit? I hated that lady. Sorry, this is the misogyny episode again.
That's disappointing to hear. I have a soft spot for the Lynx.
I like sausage links in the morning.
Yeah.
He's great. I've seen him. I saw him. One of the funniest, the hardest I've laughed in a movie. I haven't seen it since, and I can't imagine it will ever be as funny as it was then. And I think it was also because I had very low expectations. But Tiff had a night where he was there and he introduced and did a Q&A for what's it fucking called? The Dazed and Confused like sequel.
Everybody Wants
Yeah,
Them.
Everybody Wants Them. I always forget because the original title was That's What I'm Talking About. And I fucking wish they got like Everybody Wants Some ended up being fine, right?
Yeah.
But That's What I'm Talking About.
Way
like,
better title.
That's a great title, and that's such a good title for him, right?
Yeah.
Like that line has to come up in every one of his movies.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
very funny.
But just seeing that, like, it was so funny. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
It's funny,
I don't think
right?
I've seen it since theaters though.
Yeah, neither have I.
I'd love to rewatch it.
Well, we'll have to do Dazed and Confused. Yeah. Anyway, very funny, and he was there.
Cool.
I could reach out and touch him,
But
I didn't.
later.
I didn't. But
You
later.
could link, but later.
Yeah, we could link up later. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. We'll have to remember that one. And I saw Poor Things, which is fine.
I'm seeing that tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Thank you.
Emma Stone is really, really good.
I saw Fallen Leaves, which I know both of you saw and really liked.
So good.
I really liked it as well.
Yeah.
So funny, so deadpan and dry, but sincere and heartfelt.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of deadpan dry movies can come off as sarcastic or kind of mean towards their characters. This one had a lot of heart.
I also think that film needs. I mean, that feels like the kind of perfect example of like a well-edited movie to me.
Yeah.
I just think if you look at what's going to get nominated for Oscars and what I think will probably win,
Oppenheimer.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a very like the editing is so.
It's good.
I don't.
I know. Go say what you're going to say. It's okay.
I think it's
Aggressive.
like ostentatious or
I wouldn't say it's bad.
yeah.
But I didn't have enough time to prepare a full like thought about Oppenheimer's editing. But I would just say that it's the one that takes a lot of attention, right?
Yeah,
It draws
I know
attention
what you
to
mean.
itself.
Yeah,
the,
it does.
The editing
it does.
in Fallen Leaves is like the rhythm of it
Yeah.
and the lyricism of it, the way it's completely in conversation with the audience and the performances, and it just feels so intentional and so perfectly crafted. The editing in Oppenheimer is it's almost like too unwieldy for it to actually be as effective as it can be, like as Fallen Leaves is, because Oppenheimer is this massive object that's juggling 3 timelines, and I'm assuming like was edited around lots of different takes and performances and stuff like that, right? So I wouldn't say it's anybody's fault necessarily. The fact that I don't think it's I don't know if it has the opportunity to be as well edited, because the ability to like manage performances and rhythms, it becomes more and more difficult the bigger and more elaborate your film and your edit gets.
Yeah, and
right.
I think a lot of the times too, it's like those types of awards go to the most edited, right? Like you were saying, like the whatever it draws itself or draws attention to itself, like it's like over edited almost. Maybe.
Yeah. It'd be a mistake to say that like for Oppenheimer the editing is like part of the story, because that's just every film, right? But Oppenheimer like really takes the mask off and says like, this is a film that is playing with editing. Yeah. Every film is playing with editing, right? Yeah. And I just think Fallen Leaves is incredible. And it won't get an award for it.
No,
you know?
No. It won't.
But to me, the best edited film of the year.
The lead actress got a Golden Globe nomination. It's kind of like out of left field.
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
I think it'll be lucky to get the nomination for Best Foreign Language Film. I hope it does.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, I think...
Was it submitted?
I think it probably was submitted. What other Finnish movie came out?
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry, not a dig on Finland. Okay, so before we get into Wonka, the movie, just in the interest of those listeners who like to listen to all the preamble and then don't want to listen to us talk about the new movie, Jordan, you had said that you wanted to use this opportunity to present your official Jordan top 10 movies of 2023. Yeah. Now, I want to make a note before Alex and I are going to do this as well. We're going to do an end of the year episode like we did last year, which is crazy that we've already done this before. It's been that long.
Yeah, we paired it with the cop-out episode.
Yep. maybe this time we'll just do our own separate episode.
Sure.
Who knows? Yeah. Or maybe we'll watch Cop-Out again.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe that's the thing.
Revisit Cop-Out.
I really don't want to watch that movie ever. Never again. I really do not ever need to see it again.
Well,
it just makes me sad. Okay.
Okay.
We will be doing this, and I will comment on the movie, and I will judge you, but we're not going to say what our top movies are.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Okay.
From bottom to top.
Go for it.
The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Indiana Jones
It
and
was
the
a
Kingdom of the
troll.
Crystal Skull.
It was a
Jordan,
troll this whole
come
time.
on,
Magic
man.
Mike, the Paul Schrader ranking, the Canterbury Tales,
God damn it.
Saw 4,
Oh,
Saw
he's doing
6,
our episodes.
Cop Out, Saw, and TMNT, the Drew Barrymore crop fiasco.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is actually
That
very
has
nice.
to be the
Do you
number one,
think
right?
those are our best episodes?
Of the year, yeah.
Okay, great.
You talked over it, so I didn't really get a chance to elaborate. But
Sorry.
that was my bit. I actually do have a list of my top 10 favorite films of the year. Too.
Do you want to do that?
Give us those ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
First, sorry. I'm sorry I talked over it. I thought you were doing a different type of bit. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I also we should take this opportunity to say, despite all of the silliness and the fake animosity and so on, I really appreciate that you like the show and that you listen to it and that you come on and everything, but also that you tell people about it. And I'm sure listen, there's still not very many people listen to it, but I know for a fact you have suggested it to people who have then listened to it.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I went to a sit-in at Scotiabank a couple weeks ago at their headquarters because they're sending money to El Beat, which is building weapons of war that are being used to kill people in Palestine right now.
Yep.
And someone at the sit-in wanted to talk to me with the franchisees.
What? Who?
Yeah.
Someone I don't know?
I don't think you know him.
Wow, great.
But I went to film school with him, and we ran into each other, and he was like, "Oh, I've been listening to that show." It's
Oh,
great.
but had you recommended it to him in the first place, maybe? Or
I don't know if I've directly recommended it to him, but
Yeah.
he probably saw that I had posted about
right.
it. Yeah.
There you go.
Please recommend
go.
everyone else listening. Recommend more. Be more like Jordan.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, we're too late, but we should say like and subscribe.
Yeah, fucking rate and review and stuff.
But the word of mouth. That's what we want. Is
Mm-hmm.
that juicy grassroots word of mouth.
Yes, spit the franchisees
Into my mouth.
all your friends' mouths.
Okay,
All right,
here
you got
it
a
is.
real top 10?
In rough order from bottom to top.
Okay,
Godzilla -1.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10.
Haven't seen.
Here's the one little thing I'll say about Godzilla is in response to something you said on the last episode. Why is it called Godzilla -1?
Yes.
I don't know if you found out why. There's a reason why.
Tell us.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I read that it. Sorry, you tell us. I'm pretty sure I
The
read
reason
what it
is
was,
that after World War II, Japan had nothing, and then Godzilla shows up and they have less than nothing.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
okay.
That is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
a bizarre,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, if you explain it, I guess I see what it means, but it's still a bizarre movie title.
All I will say is Japan is awesome.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, good for them. I enjoy their cultural exports.
So Godzilla is the only film on this list that's like this, but it is the best case, I think, in theaters right now for big,
Yeah.
exciting blockbuster filmmaking.
Sure.
It's kind of like Top Gun Maverick
It's a Top
was
Gun
last
Maverick,
year, right? It's
and
like
some of the critiques of its politics too. I think are also fall in line with
Yeah.
the Top Gun Maverick, which is great. Which I'm very very easy to dust my hands
Top
off.
Gun, actually, I like because I spent a lot of last year telling people Top Gun's amazing. Let's all
Yeah.
go see Top Gun. I went to see it like 4 times.
Yeah, I
and
remember.
all the close-ups of Lockheed Martin logos make
Yeah.
me feel sick now, and I can't. It's no longer fun. It's no longer like, aha, isn't it funny that this is propaganda?
Because we didn't talk about this after Godzilla -1, but a number of people I've been reading reviews and so on or reactions like that. Some of the like city destruction made them kind of feel queasy as well. Like given yeah. So I mean,
Here's what I would say about that.
Yeah.
Because there's elements of Godzilla -1's politics that are maybe populist and propagandistic and kind
nationalistic.
of and people have criticized the lack of an American occupation depicted in the film.
Yes.
People have criticized the fact that the film is sort of saying, the film's message is ultimately about Japan rallying, restoring faith in itself as a nation, right, in the wake of the war. So it kind of like purposefully elides. I mean, the fact that the main character is a kamikaze pilot who decided not to commit like a kamikaze attack is probably the most directly the film deals with the state of Imperial Japan, right? And Japanese aggression in the Second World War, right?
Yeah.
But Godzilla films have always been about the relation that Japan has with nuclear power, right?
Yeah.
And the difference between Top Gun and Godzilla is that America's not a nation that got invaded and devastated by bombs during the Second World War or during any war since the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Japan is depicting a country that has been completely destroyed by American military force, right?
Yeah.
So the fundamental relationship that they have with arms is completely different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was talking with you about this weeks ago about the Bruce Cockburn song "If I Had a Rocket Launcher."
Yeah.
Right?
Another crazy song to have been a top 10 radio hit or whatever. Yeah.
Right? You know that song? My
No.
friend Simone pointed this out to me. I'd never heard it before, right? But there's this Bruce Cockburn song that's the lyrics are about if you're living in a town where everyone you know lives there and you've grown up there and it's all you have and there's American helicopters descending on it, if I had a rocket launcher, I would shoot it at them.
Yeah.
That's the logical thing to do, right? It's about the myth of pacifism under imperialist violence, right?
Yeah.
If you're being colonized and occupied, pacifism actually isn't an option.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's definitely more to say about the politics of Godzilla. It's tangled up and gnarly, and definitely I'm not like I don't have. First of all, I'm not Japanese. I don't have Japanese nationalism. I wouldn't support like military nationalism in any country, and so its depiction in film is always going to like have
of course.
a bad taste. But if we're talking about big, broad, popular cinema, right? It's a tainted well to draw from, right? So if you need an escapist entertainment like a popular fantasy series, Godzilla's right now easily the best film in theaters.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like it's so effective. The Ginza attack, right?
Insane. Yes.
It's maybe
Terrifying too. Like,
it's one of the most powerful sequences of the year, I think.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, it's like when you're talking about Top Gun and you're saying like here's American might destroying things versus Godzilla, here's like a Japanese town being devastated by a symbol of nuclear aggression, right? It's like clearly the relationship is different.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, it's brutal. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Godzilla. That's 10.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm
No,
going
it's
to be
okay.
quicker.
I won't sidetrack you either.
And then I would say Monster.
Yeah, I actually haven't. That I was just talking. That's one of the big ones of the year. I haven't
I
seen
gotta
yet.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hirokazu Koreeda, which is basically a triptych. It unfolds from three perspectives. It's not like Rashomon, but it does have that thing of being unfolding from three different perspectives, basically. And so it has a mystery structure that I think I had like a bit of a bad mentality with, but it kind of overcame anyways. But I was kind of being like, oh, I wonder if this is about like a shadowy cabal of evil adults, and like, oh no, I'm like imposing a vision. I just need to like surrender myself to the unknown in this film a little bit, because piecing it together, I was like looking down dead ends and then being like interpreting characters' actions in ways that I had no business expecting, you know. But it's really beautiful and very moving. And then 8, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
It's another one. I'm gonna see it. I definitely am gonna see that before the end of the year. I missed it in theaters. So I feel bad.
Great Benny Safdie performance.
Yeah, I've
and
heard,
Rachel McAdams won't get nominated for an Oscar for it, but give it to her.
Yeah.
She's amazing in it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know that director made The Edge of 17, which I heard is really good as well, but I haven't seen that one either. So,
and then I would say, okay, I would probably put The Boy and the Heron.
nice.
Which we've already talked a little bit about. And then I would put Fallen Leaves. And then I would put A Fire, which we've talked about on this film.
Gosh,
on this podcast.
Like, a little sneak peek at my, like, whatever, top 10, 20, 30 list. Like, that's right up there. 1, 2, or 3, who knows? But that's like, that movie, I've seen it twice now. It's just like, means a lot, you know? I think it's, unfortunately relatable. Yeah.
Just that thing of him saying, I can't join you, I have to work. And then
my work won't allow it.
Yeah,
that's
as
the phrase.
soon as nobody's watching him, just dicking around all day. And then
Yeah.
as soon as people start showing up, rushing back to your computer to pretend you had spent the whole day working.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And then there's that scene where somebody's telling an incredibly boring story, and they're telling it with no pizzazz. Like, they're a bad storyteller, and he's so annoyed and wants to mock and humiliate this guy. And he also is like, but I'm an asshole for thinking and doing this. And that kind of like tension and just having that inside of you of like, I can't deal with this person being a terrible storyteller and like expecting my time and attention, but also like, you have to be polite. Like, who cares, you know? Yeah, really good.
Yeah, they had like a Christian Petzold retrospective, like all his movies at TIFF, and I couldn't go to any of them. I was working nights the entire time it was there, and I was like, fuck, like I want to see all these movies, right? But I noticed one of his very early movies is called Cuba Libre, and I was like, that's fucking Club Sandwich ass name for a movie, you know? And then I saw people like who had seen it at TIFF, and they were like, every review was like, this is his Club Sandwich, which you will know when you see the movie, and you will love this movie, Alex. I
Yeah.
guarantee it.
You'll
yeah,
like
I
it.
look forward to it.
Yeah.
I would definitely put it in the same. It's a much more kind of like sour film, but
Yeah.
it feels like in the similar register of Fallen Leaves in
Cool.
terms of its wit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very different, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay, and then Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. Oh my God. I did get to see it again. It's like I told you that. It's just really all kind of came together, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A devastating film. And
Yeah.
So the kind of basically what I said before is like I can't stop thinking about it, and there's no like way to resolve some of the questions that film is asking of itself and of its audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Which only makes it stick with you longer. Like it's really, really like destabilizing movie. Yeah.
Also, as like from the moment you watch it, you know this, but it's just grown stronger and stronger. How astonishing Lily Gladstone and Robert De Niro are in that film.
Yeah.
And I think the Lily Gladstone performance is like unreal. You know, it's still, this is, you know, who cares on some level, but it still makes me like I'm shocked at Robert De Niro in that movie.
Yeah, same.
Shocked because I see Robert De Niro as still a great actor, but having like a much more limited range than he used to.
He's dirty. He's dirty grandpa.
Yeah, and now he's like doing something that's like, oh, all that range must still be there because this is like a completely new kind of performance for him.
Yeah, and I mean, like he's good in The Irishman, right? It's a good performance, but by the nature of that character, like it's you know it's just not the same thing, right? Like
he's amazing in The Irishman, but it's a very purposeful deployment of his screen presence. Yeah, right. Whereas the Killers of the Flower Moon character is like he has to find a new.
He's a different guy.
Yeah, he has to find a new tone. To bring that character to life, and it's like it's terrifying. Stunning. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. Okay, so then after that, this is technically a 2022 film, but The People's Joker.
Yeah, well, okay, but that has a weird release. Like that might as well be that could be 2023, it could be 2024. Yeah. We don't really know. Yeah. So you saw it when it came back here, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So good.
It's so amazing.
Good. It's so good.
I was really. The way it balances stuff that is extremely funny with stuff that just like makes me cry immediately. You know?
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Things with parents things with children desperately needing their parents to understand something and the adult just not getting it. Like that kind of thing just always like makes me weep immediately, right? Yeah. And the child performance in that film, which I think is going a little bit like people aren't talking about it. No. And along with there's a child performance in Monster. There's a couple really good ones. Obviously, it's about children, but there's one in particular that's like a performance befitting like a great actor. I hope this kid goes on to be something big. Right? It's the same deal. And the kid in People's Joker is unbelievable. I think
the kid in Anatomy of a Fall is really good too.
Yeah. That's an honorable mention for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So was that 10 or
no? And then this is kind of like tied for number one, Showing Up and Rice Boy Sleeps. Yeah, Rice Boy Sleeps great. Also kind of like it was released in Canada in 2023. Yeah,
it's Canadian. Like Skinamarink was on our list last year, but it's on a lot of people's lists this year because it's like whatever. Who cares? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And Showing Up is a film. I mean, it's still kind of
Showing Up is
it's kind of gone under the radar. I saw it about a month ago.
Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't think we talked about it. It's I don't know. It made me feel like I should show up more. You know?
Yeah. Well, okay. So speaking of finding things about a fire relatable, I mean, watching Showing Up and seeing my community in it is very striking, and it's very well realized and well observed. And I think even despite it being from a major filmmaker, it's kind of gone under the radar a little bit.
I know, it's pretty seemed like a small release, you know.
Yeah. But a fantastic movie. I think my favorite of the year, along with Rice Boy Sleeps, which has completely gone under the radar. I think
it's the curse of Canadian distribution, unless you're BlackBerry or like whatever else.
BlackBerry is another honorable mention for me.
Yeah, BlackBerry is good.
But that's my top 10.
Yeah, I really want to see. Well, missing like Rice Boy Sleeps and like The Maiden and like other Canadian movies that like were distributed here, but had like, I don't know, however long it is, like maybe 2-3 weeks at the Lightbox or the Carlton or somewhere. And then they're gone. Maybe you can download it. Maybe it's on the CBC Gem app. I don't know. No one knows. They're just gone. And it's a fucking shame,
No one knows what's on that ghost town of CBC Gem.
No, I mean Dragon's Den, Kevin O'Leary,
The
friend
Great
of the pod,
baking show. That's how I
Sure.
watch it with my parents.
the Great
nice.
British Jerk Off.
That's a
what I
lovely
call it.
show.
I
Yeah.
love it.
It is good.
It's so
Yeah.
like, warm and everyone's supportive of each other.
I was going to ask, do either of you watch Taskmaster, the British show Taskmaster?
The only show
That's-
I watch is
yeah.
the Great British Baking Show because I think
Right.
television is garbage. It's
Me
bad
too.
medium.
It's bad.
Terrible.
Yeah. The only good TV, and I was thinking about this earlier today as I was listening to the soundtrack. The only good TV show that was ever made is Twin Peaks. Season 1, the movie, season 1, season 2, all of season 2.
I like all of season 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
The movie, which is a TV show.
When people say,
And then-
Twin Peaks season 2, it really goes crazy. You shouldn't watch it. It's like,
You
what are
have
you
to-
talking about?
It's
Yeah.
still
It's-
entertaining.
it's not that- it's
of
not
course
that bad. Yeah.
Saying like, the reason it's bad is because it gets too crazy is like, what
Yeah.
the fuck do you mean?
I think
Like,
I think when people say that, they often mean too silly and not like
Sure.
scary enough or not not like whatever quote unquote lynching enough.
Yeah.
And I understand that, like and his presence or his absence is felt in
Totally.
it. But you have to watch all of it. It's great. Well, sorry, this is what I was thinking of. Just thinking about how great like season 3 of Twin Peaks is, as I do a lot, and something I've seen it all the way through twice, I guess, and then here and there other episodes and so on. But I find it really frustrating, and I feel like this is how people are frustrated with me when they're like, you have to watch whatever TV show, like Better Call Saul, or you have to watch like this or that. And I'm like, I don't want to watch a TV show. Like I want to watch a movie. Like I don't care. And then the karma, is a bitch, and I'm like, you have to watch it, Twin Peaks season 3.
Yeah.
This is the best work of motion picture art, like in however many years or whatever. And then people are like, oh yeah, like, well, I gotta watch, I'm halfway through season 1. I kind of fizzled out in season 2, and I feel like I gotta watch that. And then there's the movie, and then you gotta watch this. And it's like, no, like this is a priority. This should be what you do right now. When you go home, you gotta do it right now.
You deserve it.
Yeah, quit your job. Yeah. I will lend you the Blu-rays or whatever. Just like watch it. But
you deserve it, Ben.
I do deserve it.
Better Call Saul was a good show.
No, I'm sure it's great. I've seen one
Yeah.
episode, the very last episode. I was staying at a friend's house and they watched it.
I always like feel this perverse and it's not a kind feeling, but a sense of vindication when it's like, oh, everyone thinks Fargo is bad now.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks Game of Thrones is bad now. It's
No,
like,
me
yeah,
too.
because it's
Yeah.
fucking TV.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth your time.
I
Even if it's good for a little bit, like drop out. It's not worth your time.
This is a bad thing for you to say to me because it's very much exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm going to commit to. This is why when I watch TV show, like it's like when it's over, and if it's good, then I'll watch it. But when you're going along with fucking Game of Thrones or whatever, and it's like, I think I watched the first 4 seasons. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Like like why? And then it got bad, and I'm like, oh, good. Like I made the right choice.
Yeah.
It was not. I didn't know anything that it.
This is like
that
when
anybody
we were
else knew,
both
but-
really happy that the Rise of Skywalker was terrible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a good way to approach other people enjoy, like whatever.
No, it's obnoxious.
Yeah, it's
And-
obnoxious of us.
and it's toxic.
It's toxic of us.
Yeah, it's true.
But I was rubbing my belly,
Yeah, me too.
with like foaming, like chocolatey, like licking ice cream. When I heard the Rise of Skywalker was terrible, I was like, yeah.
Well, I mean, and I've certainly mentioned this before, but I was there, maybe not opening night, but like opening weekend, and by myself, and slipped a full Mickey in the old extra large sody, and I almost peed my pants. I was so piss drunk, reeking of booze,
Yeah.
and then I had to pee right when it was over. So like that whole movie for me, like just being like, this is fucking sucks. This sucks. I hate this. Like you're just watching and you're like, the voice in your head is like, why? And then the last hour of the movie, I'm like, the same voice, like, why, I hate this. Why am I doing this to myself? And then the other voice being like, I gotta fucking pee. Like the Forrest Gump, like, I gotta pee. Like, I gotta fucking pee. What the fuck? And bad memory. Never will ever see it again.
Probably just like a fever dream piss memory of yours now.
Yeah. Most of my memories
everything's in yellow.
Most of them are fever dream.
Through like a yellow lens.
The piss Christ. You ever see that?
The piss Christ.
Yes.
Andres Serrano.
Yeah, classic work of art.
So true.
So true.
I have.
Anyway,
The
speaking
culture
of
critic will probably tweet about it.
yeah. Okay. Fuck, whatever. Those accounts are really funny.
Yeah.
I know people talk about this a lot, but what's funny now on Twitter, like Elon's Twitter, and how it's like monetized, and how all these, like all the people who have the blue check are like, culture critic accounts or whatever, like with a profile picture of like a ancient Roman statue head or bust or something. And they'll, or there's one that I find really funny where it's like, it's called historic vids, and it doesn't have the same kind of like reactionary bent as the other ones does. It's like historic vids, and so it'll show videos or photos of like whatever. It's really like morbid curiosity, Reddit sort of depths of Wikipedia sort of stuff. But then every now and again it'll be like historic vids, and it's like some video from like 2 years ago. Like what is this? This isn't historic.
Vids.
Yeah, this is not history.
That's a heritage moment.
Yeah.
Like,
But like all the culture critic ones, it's like it'll be like, why don't we build coliseums anymore? Like why don't we build chapels like we used to? Yeah. And then all the replies under it are all these other little blue check things that are like, check out this meme that I made, and like check or like check out this and this. And so if you ever see anything, and you like say you see something interesting maybe, and you're like, well, I'd like to see what the discourse is about this. You scroll down, and it's just all a bunch of like other blue check accounts being like notice me, senpai, and like all this, like
it's really funny how bad it's gotten.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah. It's fun. I like it. I like being on there. And that is but also part of that's a privileged position to have, that like all of how awful it's become, that I can sit back and laugh instead of being like, I have to leave. I don't want to be here. Yeah. Anyway.
Can I note something that is completely off topic, but just kind of...
what topic? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Wonka. We'll get to
Yeah.
it. We'll get
What
to it.
shape are your headphones in? What's this shape?
an upside down U, an arch.
An arch. And what does it say on top of your headphones?
That's a great question.
Just bow your head. We'll tell you. Stanton.
Arch Stanton. Does
Arch,
that mean anything to either of you?
Arch Stanton?
Wasn't that a bad guy in one of the Ant-Men?
If that doesn't mean anything to either of you, I'll just not say anything and wait until maybe months from now. You'll learn
What?
why that's interesting.
Arch Stanton?
I hate you, Jordan.
Who can say what that might? How I wonder if
You
it's
cryptic
intentional
son
that
of a bitch.
they did that they put the word Stanton on an
no.
arch.
These are just the shape of all
it's the shape of
headphones.
all headphones.
Right, but they said a headphone is shaped like an arch. We should call ours Stanton.
No,
because-
Stanton's a company, right?
Yeah,
so who
a
knows what they
company named
started with? Who knows
Stanton.
what they started making?
But they decided, let's make an arched object.
No, they were like, let's make headphones and let's adhere to the
Jordan,
typical
Yeah,
shape
and
of headphones.
because we're called Stanton.
Let's fucking talk about Wonka.
You have to, before we talk about Wonka, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to anybody who clicked on this and said, oh, gee, I want to hear if Timmy did a good job in Wonka. We're going to get to it. And we're going to be brief. What the fuck do you mean by that?
No, I
you,
can't.
No, you have to tell us.
I know that you will discover why.
I'm just Googling.
No,
I'll
don't
just,
you
yeah,
dare.
I'm just Googling it.
Okay.
I don't have time for that. Oh, it's an album. It's an album
No,
by
it's not.
Karma to Burn.
Okay,
Is that
but
what
why
you're saying?
they named that album after something that you listen.
Jordan, I don't have time.
I'm
oh.
What is it? What is it, Ben?
Don't tell him.
No.
Don't tell him.
Well, but you're gonna make me Google
Doesn't
it?
have anything to do with that, does it?
What?
This?
Yeah.
What's that? Is that part of that movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in years.
It's a
I haven't seen it in
major
years.
detail in it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's
Jordan raises a good point.
Yeah.
Alex, don't look it up.
don't look it up. You'll learn it.
It's just a reference to a movie that we're gonna cover next year, where Jordan is gonna be on the show. He'll come back.
Yeah,
I don't know
eagle-eared
about
listeners
that.
might now know a film that's going to be covered.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's iconic. If
Well,
you-
I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, since I was
That's
a
okay.
teenager. So, yeah.
All right,
All right.
let's talk about Wonka.
Okay, Wonka,
That was fun.
2023. Yeah, we're gonna bang this out real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Wonka. All right, first impressions. What do you say, Alex? Jordan and I saw it together, so
I saw it
I
last
know what he
night.
thinks. Yeah.
I liked it. Here are I'd say I have like two big gripes with it.
Yeah.
One smaller than the other. I'll get that one out of the way.
Yeah.
I thought the best songs in this movie were Pure Imagination and the Oompa Loompa songs.
Yes.
None of the new music really stuck with me. I couldn't really recall a melody or anything like that. I remember the Scrub.
But what about your apocalypse and your wocolates and your chocolates?
Chocolates and on your socolates.
Yeah, what about
like,
that?
No.
There's chocolate and there's chocolate.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
too.
Something, yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
So I didn't think the music was as sticky or as memorable as anything in the original. Probably a bit better than the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory songs because those were just
Well,
the
yeah,
kind
those were
of
terrible.
deep Roy psych freakouts.
I would
Yeah,
also add to that, each song was like just a little bit too long.
I agree. And
Yeah,
there were
which-
a lot.
Which was
I was
something
thinking about you during
we
it. Yeah.
mentioned in the first episode, which was that the songs in the first movie are kind of short. They're just kind of sung, they're not big like musical numbers. They're just sung, and then we kind of move on. And
They're
the melodies
all the
are nice.
periods at the end of a sequence.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like, let's wrap up what just happened in like a little song.
Totally.
Yeah.
Until a certain point where the only music is the Oompa Loompa songs anyway, which
Mm-hmm.
are all like, Heat certified bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My second kind of bigger gripe, and it's not like so much a huge gripe or anything. I think Timmy, he was fine. I thought he was
Yes.
good.
We will agree on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a great comedic actor. And I think part of it for me was that I don't think he has the most expressive face. I think he's good at doing kind of like cool, sexy, slim guy brooding. But when he's...
Paul Atreides.
He's an amazing angsty teenager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when it comes
Elio.
time for him to be like, expressive and fun and like, wondrous or whatever, like I just don't really think he brought, like he's a fine singer and he learned all the moves, but I don't think
Yeah.
he brought it facially. Because, like with Gene Wilder, like there was a whole meme of like, Willy Wonka with his head
Yeah,
tilted
right.
with his head in his hands. And like, you just got so much from his face, so much like judgment or just kind of like, oh, go on, Whereas like, yeah, Timothy, he was good. I thought he was kind of doing, like at times his voice kind of reminded me of Jim Carrey, which was fun.
Yeah.
But then
Okay.
too stone-faced in a way, And
Yeah. It's got the classic Buster Keaton look, doesn't he? A little bit.
Possibly.
It would've been-
yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say, I agree about the songs. I agree about Timothy as well. It being that's something that you said, Jordan, like pretty much right away, was that he was kind of the weakest link. Like performance wise, I thought the things that I liked about the movie is like I like those Paddington movies. I haven't seen them since they came out. I know like people are really like not down with the whole like nice core quote unquote thing or whatever. But I don't know, they're like sweet movies for children, movies you watch with your mom on a nice afternoon,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the supporting cast is probably the best part of this movie. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of great like British actors, including, and that's why I asked about Taskmaster. That couple that end up getting married because Wonka gives them the chocolate that gives you a rock hard erection, and they were two contestants on Taskmaster that
cool.
I totally fell in love with them. Charlotte Ritchie and Phil Wang is hilarious, and lots of great faces in this movie.
I was happy to see Rich Fulcher, who was
So
American,
funny. Yeah.
but he was on Mighty Boosh. He moved to the
he
UK.
lived in the
Yeah,
UK
yeah.
forever. Yeah, I love Rich Fulcher. Yeah. The thing that I was curious about, and especially when they like way back when this was announced, and they had only released like one production still, and it was Timothy in the top hat, like snowy, and it's just this like kind of serious looking shot of him. And I remember thinking like, oh, like is this going to be is this going to capture that kind of that like dark side of like the Roald Dahl thing? Is this going to be another sort of like sort of a little bit of menace or whatever? And this movie, compared to the original and even compared to Tim Burton's, like there's none of that, right? There's no like menace. There's no like danger, really.
No,
right?
There's a bit of like Dickensian thing, like, you know, with the
Very
couple who runs
Yeah,
the...
definitely.
But yeah, it's not emanating from Willy.
So
And they're kind of like the innkeepers from Les Mis as well, right? The Thénardiers. Yeah. I don't know, but it's not a bad thing. I just
No.
like, you know.
I think it's fine. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the Gene Wilder character.
No.
Here's what's interesting about this, as like your podcast is about franchises ostensibly, right? Is this the first franchise you've done where none of the films are sequels or like in universe with
That are all
any of the other
reboots?
films?
I don't
This
know.
one's a
Is it?
prequel to
But
the
it's
first
not
one,
in
kinda.
universe with the first one.
No,
right?
it's
You
not.
can't-
Yeah.
No, it's
and
not.
I think the filmmakers have said it's a different. It's like
different.
an alternate universe.
True.
And Wonka is a different character, right? And I think also the Tim Burton one, they're not doing the same character. Each film is like a different person.
Yes,
Wonka, right?
totally, yeah.
And I think that's kind of interesting,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think what they went with for how to present Wilson Wonka in this film, Wilbur, is that he's a pretty generic go-getter, like chippity. Is that a word? Like,
Yeah.
keep your chin
Sure.
up, like happy-go-lucky, zany magic guy. Like there
Totally.
isn't much more to it than that.
No.
And it's kind of unfortunate because otherwise they're just trading in on iconography and songs that people know and love, right? So he's got the purple coat and the hat and a cane, and he makes chocolate and he sings about imagination. But
That's pretty much it.
but it's like a bundle of signifiers, and there's nothing at the center of it, and it leaves a big hole in the middle of the film, where otherwise I was kind of impressed with.
Yeah.
It was a pretty charming.
Yeah,
and
it's funny.
and fun watch.
Yeah.
The direction is really strong. I think the production design is strong.
Yeah.
It seems very like in the lineage of the Harry Potter films in terms of its production design.
Yeah, definitely, and like what, and like it being the director of the Paddington movies, like it's very similar, both in tone and production design and look and feel to that. Like except with, with musicals numbers in it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
He has a very playful tone.
Yeah, and lots of good like gags and little character moments and things like that. To answer your question about that, yes, this is actually like our first franchise where it's like
None of the films are related to each other.
the original like another
Remake.
adaptation or whatever.
Yeah.
Aside from the Pasolini films, which are not technically like
Right.
in universe connected or more of a thematic trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we will return to thematic trilogies. Oh, just you wait. We're gonna bust out the Criterion box set. We're gonna the Whit Stillman trilogy or the fucking the Wim Wenders Road trilogy or some bullshit.
Yeah. So I think Timothée Chalamet
Yes.
is actually a great actor.
I agree.
I think he's a really strong actor and
Oh,
a great
yeah.
screen presence, and is like a song and dance man. He loves doing that kind of shtick, right?
Yeah.
And so I think he's like as good as the film is asking him to be. I just don't think that there's. I don't think they conceived of a really great or fascinating character for Willy Wonka.
No, he's
And that
the
kind of
least
bums me
interesting
out.
character in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, out of any characters that are fleshed out in any way, like he's kind of just like a funny guy. He's not even really that weird.
No, he's not weird enough.
No.
He's not weird enough. And then when you were saying he kind of resembles Buster Keaton and doesn't have a very expressive face, I thought it kind of would have been interesting if Willy Wonka had been like dead inside.
Yeah.
If he had been a complete stone face, like moving through this like completely absurd magical fantasy world, providing people with chocolates that make you fly and turn your hair green and stuff. But he himself is like dead serious, like never budges,
Yeah, that
never
would've been
smiles.
funny.
That would have been an interesting choice.
That
for
could have
sure.
been interesting.
Yeah.
I saw someone joking online, because this is like whatever, a quote unquote a prequel. Not really, but like a a Lego sequel.
The
like what
only
happened
thing is
before.
that the Oompa Loompa looks like the design of the Oompa Loompas in the original film.
That's pretty
But
much
other
it.
than that, it has nothing to do with that universe at all.
But yeah, I saw someone joking like I was sitting during Wonka and I kept yelling at the screen, but what happened before this? What happened before? You go to any of these movies, it's like Solo, and you're like, well, this is all fine and good, but what happened before?
Which actually, honestly, was kind of nice that they weren't just like, laddering back up to the original, being like, see, remember this? Like,
that would have been
the only kind of things
disastrous.
like that they did were just like little musical cues, at the beginning, which were nice. And
I really liked the approach, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't obnoxious, and
it's not cynical either, which is like saying something these days.
I think speaking of something that you were saying earlier about, I forget what film you were talking about, but I think the marketing for this film has done it a big disservice. Actually,
you think
Yeah.
so?
yeah, I think
We're
it's
talking about the Sweet East marketing, right? Where it's like
the Sweet East.
Yeah.
That was you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's been marketed really badly.
Yeah.
First of all, we were saying this, but it's like it wasn't marketed as a musical.
No, they're
right?
they're afraid to. The same thing happened when the Mean Girls musical trailer came out, and they no songs. They're scared to market it that way.
And it's just like those trailers are so badly edited. I think the ways they're trying to play up like the Willy Wonka character as like this zany guy, it just doesn't work, and it like people were laughing at it, or at least people that I follow on Twitter were laughing at it.
Yeah. Well, it's silly. When in the trailer when it cuts to him saying, "I'm making chocolate," of course. It's
He doesn't even say that in the movie.
Oh, he says it. Yeah.
I'm
He
making
says it.
chocolate?
I think he does.
He definitely says it. It's when he first opens up the his little traveling case, and Noodles comes in. And it's like, or Noodle, not Noodles. What are you doing? And he's like, I'm making chocolate, of course. He says it. I would have been very upset if he didn't say
the
it.
basic setup. It's like a film about debt, right? Weirdly enough,
Yeah.
the theme of the film is debt, right?
Yeah.
And
mommy stuff.
What's that?
Mommy stuff.
Mommy stuff.
Primarily debt.
Greed. It's
Yeah.
not an anti-capitalist film. People are saying it is. It's not.
No.
It's.
Would you?
In fact, the villains,
He's
the
a
most
factory owner.
unambiguous evil people in the film are the people who run the hotel, who are like working class or like lower class members of society.
Yeah.
They're depicted as
The
right.
Thenardiers.
Yeah, they're the most kind of unambiguously, as far as I could tell, evil people.
I mean, they're the most grotesquely evil, but the chocolate cartel, are like they do murders. They do murders.
This has left
right?
my brain, but
Yeah.
don't they get redeemed? I mean,
No.
Doesn't Slughorn become a good guy by the end of the film?
No.
They all float away.
They float.
they float away.
They
Actually,
die.
Spoilers, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
whatever. Fucking.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no, it's a new movie.
You're right. It's a new movie. Wonka gives them the chocolate that makes you fly, and he gives it a double extra. He doses them. He mega doses.
He's a drug
them.
dealer in
He's
the
a
film,
drug
which I
dealer. Yeah,
appreciated.
and they fly away. And the line that he says is like, "Don't worry, they'll come down." Eventually, something like that. No, they're gone. They are gone.
Mm-hmm.
They die canonically.
Yeah, I thought so. It's got these themes about greed and debt, which I thought was really kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that leads to the best musical sequence in the film, which is the Scrub song.
Yeah.
Right. But so much of the film takes place in the hotel. Where they're all indentured servants. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of stuff would have made me way more interested in the movie if it was in the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know any. I was pretty surprised by most of the direction that the movie takes because I had no idea what to expect from the bad trailer. I agree.
And then the other thing that people are pointing out about themes and because people love to apply a lens to movies now where it's I remember I saw a Letterboxd review of Drunken Master 2, where it was like, this film rips a new one into colonialism, cultural appropriation. It's like, it kind of does, but it's like not dealing with it from your perspective.
No,
you know,
no, yeah. You can certainly apply whatever reading you want through like your 2023 lens or whatever.
Well,
but,
like so many Hong Kong films deal with the fact that it's an English occupation, right?
Yeah.
Like, of course they do, because that's where the films are being made and take place, right?
Yeah.
It's not like girl bossing Kamala Harris style. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make any sense.
No, it totally does. That bothers me too. Is that people are applying their own modern understanding of whatever colonialism or whatever it is, or feminism or whatever, to certain movies where it's like, this is not, yes, you're correct. There's themes in this, but it's not in the way that you understand it. You know what I mean?
Or it's not. It's not in the way that like online like discourse. It's not like an Instagram infographic.
No,
right?
No.
It's like people talking about their like the situation in Hong Kong was really complex and still is for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And it's just interesting because you have to deal with colonialism everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even films that are made like under colonialism that don't purport to say anything about colonialism say things about colonialism. Right?
I think one of the things that I found most like helpful in whatever like film school or Queen's Film or whatever, right, was like the focus on historical and social context of the movie when it was made, right? To understand like what was happening at that time, so that then you can understand that and you don't apply your own whatever framework onto the film that is like much more modernized, right? And I think people do that all the time, where and especially on like whatever online, because it's so easy to do it, right? And that's why that understanding that context is so important, right?
So all that is to say, people saying like this film is an anti-capitalist, whatever, is like, I think not. It's kind of like misidentifying what's happening in the film, because it's actually like about capitalism. And
he's a factory owner.
Yeah, but also people being like, this is a
your son owns a factory. Sorry.
The way the film decides to deal with Oompa Loompas, people are taking that as like, this film is kicking the asses of all those like imperialists.
I don't think so.
I think the film is doing the best it can with like completely toxic material.
Yeah,
I guess the best it can would be like, we're not including this anymore. Like we're not putting this in the film. But it basically is saying, land back, like Willy Wonka is a colonizer who like stole from an indigenous peoples, and it's their right to take it back. Yeah, is like the film's perspective.
I guess, sort of.
Maybe I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm kind of applying,
but you're doing it knowingly, right? In a way that people don't, right?
But it's still like a film. It's like a half measure, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, all that to say, I thought Hugh Grant was great.
Yeah, me too. And I do like, without applying too many critical lenses to it, I do just like how they treated the Oompa Loompa thing, just because it was like something a bit different, than the story we might have all expected, or the idea that
it's pretty close to the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory version, right?
It is, but I like this aspect that the Oompa Loompa was visiting him at night to steal chocolate from him, and then when he finally catches him, he's like, "You owe us like 4,000-fold or something," like. Again, like just a slight tweak, but it made it a bit fresher.
Yeah, I agree, and I think with Hugh Grant, like his open disdain for the film that he's in is very funny. Like I mean, obviously in interviews and things like that. But even if I hadn't heard any of that, and I watched the movie, it's on screen. It's all up on screen. Like he's not. I'm not saying he's phoning it in or giving a bad performance. He's funny.
He's funny.
But I feel like there's a bit of that. Like he's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Hugh Grant having no respect for acting has always been a thing. Right?
Yeah, that's true. But it's different now because he's old. Yeah. And when you're old and you're not the guy everybody wants to fuck anymore, it's funny. It's funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I know he's never been choosy about his projects necessarily.
Well, but
right?
also he's like openly talked about how he thinks acting is like easy, and people who say that it's hard are losers. And
he is so beautiful in the. Sorry, I have to do that. Sorry, but if I may, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's just so beautiful in those like early romantic comedies. Like he's like stunning in those movies.
He's really good in them.
He's really funny.
This was to me.
It's like stupid.
A huge like growing up moment for me was getting over being like, these aren't like, this is not art. These or like this isn't real acting. Like what he's doing in them, and like he has like such a particular character that he plays perfectly, and he's really good in those movies. Yeah.
Oh, was this about a boy?
yeah. We have to do that every episode now.
No.
Hey, you! Are you the boy from About a Boy?
Yeah, every iteration it gets like more aggressive, and it's like a bigger call or a yell.
Well, I
or
thought
something.
the Christmas Carol riff we did was the best. Yeah. You there, the boy from you there, boy, the boy from About a Boy.
Who, me, sir? Nicholas Holt, sir.
Nicholas Holt, sir.
I just think that if
Renfield, shout out. Didn't see it. Sorry.
I think that like Willy Wonka probably should do more than just like, because at one point he kind of like uses the Oompa Loompa. What, I don't remember the name.
Lofty. He goes by Lofty, but then he reveals that he's actually called like Shortstop or something.
He's the only Oompa Loompa really in the movie.
Yeah,
so,
and okay, so he's like quite a bit smaller than the Oompa Loompas in the first one, right?
Yeah, he's much smaller. Yeah.
But he's around the height of the Deep Roy Oompa Loompas.
No, I think they're. Oh no, you're right. They're pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, the monstrous Deep Roy.
The Horde.
You've seen that movie, right? The Charlie?
No, I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just think it's like this. Sorry, I just am so hung up on this. But the idea that, okay, we're going to do a version of Willy Wonka where he gets called out for being like a colonizer.
Yeah, well, I mean,
right?
Like, barely.
But then, so they want to have this thing where they recognize that it's kind of fucked that he goes to this land and steals from these people.
The source material
and then
like
profits off of it.
Very
so
racist.
They have the character, they have the Oompa Loompa there to be like, I'm taking it back. But then he uses the fact that the Oompa Loompa wants it back to manipulate him into dealing with his problems. Right?
Well, yeah, and
I just think that
as we know, a lifetime of toil.
Yeah,
eventually.
I think that so severely undercuts the quote unquote political theme. Right.
Well, I mean,
unless it's like unless they spend the next movie recognizing that like that's part of colonialism and deeply fucked. I don't know.
I think that's part of the Paul King, Nice Core, Paddington style thing is that like I remember a lot of the reviews for Paddington 2 were like, this is like a great like Brexit movie because there's a Peter Capaldi character in it who's like the grumpy neighbor, and he's like, oh, Paddington, fuck you, Paddington, I'll kill you.
Wear some pants.
Yeah, go back to Peru, you fuck, and it's like, whoa, okay, yikes. Like, but the movie, like it's not interested in, it's not gonna get into it, right? It doesn't have time to do that.
It's like there's this playful nod, if you could call it that, but that's filtered through many, many layers of like niceties and just a general, veneer for children, like
it's for kids.
Yeah.
So that's basically, I think this is a really good kids movie.
I agree. I agree.
I think when I think about what I just am thinking about kids movies right now.
Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario, it's much better than Super Mario Bros. I think.
Huge.
I think kids will probably like Super Mario Bros. More because it it has more going on visually and has all these iconic characters that kids still like.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think kids care about Willy Wonka or Oompa Loompas.
I don't think they know who he is.
Yeah. But it's like a live action musical. That's kind of rare for kids movies these days. Musicals are more for, aimed at adults nowadays.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's
live
that thing
action
too where it's like there's this thing where it's like every 3 to 5 years like a musical for adults will come out, and it's like the Hollywood musical is
It's
back.
back.
yeah.
I
And
remember
they're
Hugh
like,
Jackman
Yeah.
like actually screaming that at the Oscars.
yeah,
once.
yeah. The Greatest Snowman. Yeah, I haven't seen that. People like The Greatest Snowman.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I haven't seen it either.
that's
I've
not
heard
what
it's
it's called.
really good.
What is it called? What is it
The
called?
Gayest Showman.
The Gayest Showman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
The Greatest Shaman.
Yeah. I just want to say to the Hugh Jackmans, the Bradley Coopers, the Tom Cruises of the world, just be yourself. You know, there's no shame. It's 2023.
Yes, darling.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh,
Yes, darling.
I'm thinking of a number, darling. Three. The three of us, a trio, a triangle,
Together, the
Yeah.
triptych.
a triptych. Yes, Jordan, we have a great guest today. You should see Maestro.
Yeah, it's funny because there was some word of mouth about it from the festivals that made me think,
Yeah.
oh, there must be something going on with this movie that won't be revealed to me until I watch it, because people are saying it's really interesting and really good. And now that it's out, what I'm hearing about is, is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I would say if there's one interesting thing about it, and I read a little bit about this, if there's one thing that it has going for it, as far as like whatever biopics go, like, you know, it's there's a lot of like whatever use of like ellipsis and use of like focusing in on little moments that have very little to do with the big beats of his life or his career, and that's interesting. But then I think the thing that makes it a kind of a problem in Maestro is that like there's so little focus on like what makes him a genius, and like why, like what, you know, his relation to like classical music, and like how the real Leonard Bernstein was able to communicate so effectively the like love for classical music in a way that was like unpretentious and like universal, right? And it doesn't really get into that. So to the point where it's like, well, we're watching Maestro and it's like, well, he could have any job. He could be a mailman. he could be whatever.
Similar problem to Wonka.
Well, yeah. What do you mean? No, wait a minute. No, Wonka can only be chocolate, man.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, I want to shout out very quickly some of the fantastic supporting cast. Okay, Keegan-Michael Key is the chief of police. So it's perfectly fine. I like that he's doing the American voice.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
kind of like
But
New
a
Yorker.
lot of the jokes are like, oh, he gets fat. You know?
Yeah, I kind of couldn't believe that that it was just like so fat phobic.
Yeah, in your nice kids movie, that's nice for everything else. It's like,
And the nice core Paddington
Yeah.
director, and then there's just
him and Matt Lucas, like, and the much worse version of David Walliams made that extremely racist like BBC show, the Fly Me Away or whatever it's called. I keep forgetting the title, but like that Little Britain style, like you know.
I haven't seen it. But,
Neither have I. Well, you can't see it. They've scrubbed
really?
it from the internet.
But the BBC scrubbed it.
They scrubbed it. Scrub.
But Matt Lucas was. I thought he was kind of funny in this movie.
Yeah,
like
he's
his
funny.
whole bit of being like, and then they died. Or
Yeah,
something. Like that was funny.
Not a bad joke and stuff.
I think it was funny the first time.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
They brought it back 3 times.
A lot, yeah.
And I thought,
They did a few jokes that I felt were more in line with like kind of American humor than British stuff, where like someone would say something and then someone would like reply being like, "Oh yes, that makes sense," or like, "Well, no, that doesn't make sense," or something. You know, like the kind of like awkward pause and then acknowledging the awkwardness.
Yeah, there's a lot
like,
of that.
I kind of wish they didn't, but
Yeah.
and they just kind of let the quirky lines or the stupid stuff just kind of like fly by, and then if you enjoyed it, you did, and if you didn't, who cares?
Yeah, instead of kind of putting a bow on it.
Did you
or
catch
whatever.
that?
Yeah. Okay, Patterson Joseph, who I brought up before.
Peep Show. So good.
The
Who did he
Leftovers. He's Slugworth.
oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just really like him in Peep Show.
He's
I
very
just see a
funny.
lot
in
of
Peep
I
Show.
just like. Yeah, I really like him in that, and in The Leftovers, and in lots of. He's in The Beach. He's in like lots of like British movies. Like I know there's a very acclaimed like Julius Caesar adaptation that I believe they filmed where he's like Brutus or whatever. I want to see that, but I really really like this guy. I think he's very very funny, and like you know whatever. It's a pretty stock kind of villain character, but. It's funny, yeah.
His voice is great.
His voice is amazing. Yeah, he's got an amazing voice. And when he's like, you know, like chocolate and Wonka and all that, you know, it's just like very like, it works. Matt Lucas, whatever. Sally Hawkins, dead mom.
Yeah, she's always
she's
amazing.
great. She's great.
Um,
Rowan Atkinson, who gives a fuck?
I thought he was
Fuck
good.
that guy. Yeah, but whatever.
Uh,
Olivia Colman, always great. Always
Yeah.
great.
Olivia Colman.
Tom Davis, really funny too. He's as the Bleacher, the scrub guy, right? The
Simon Farnaby,
Simon Farnaby,
very, very good.
excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's in those Paddington ones as well, I believe.
Yeah, and he's the co-writer and
he co-wrote the movie. This movie.
because
Oh.
he was on Boosh and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. That's
and
right.
He was great in Toast of London. Love that guy.
Yeah, same. Oh, and like I said, Charlotte Ritchie and Phil Wang,
Yes.
former contestants of Taskmaster.
Great.
You got to watch that show. You got to watch that show.
So, can I ask you a general question?
Yeah, of course.
You've decided to dedicate a couple of weeks of your lives to this series of
Decided makes
Yeah.
it sound like more thought went into it. But yeah.
What would you call? Does the Willy Wonka series like have a voice or a style? Is there something to this character and world that is unique and like makes it deserving of more films? Do you want to? What would you want to see out of sequels to this? Like,
No,
I'm just so curious about it because on the one hand, there's this the iconography to it and the songs that have become kind of embedded in culture, and the original is kind of a beloved classic.
Yeah.
Other than that, what is there to this? Is that enough? The fact that we all know what an Oompa Loompa looks like and know the song, the Imagination song.
I don't care about the whatever franchise, if you want to call it that, or whatever it is. I don't really think there's any sort of unified thing. For the first two, I would say they fit very well into the kind of broader like Roald Dahl adaptation kind of whatever. We were talking about like the Witches or even the Wes Anderson movies and what else? What's the other? What are the other big Matilda, yeah.
You Only Live Twice,
James and the Giant Peach.
That's true. He did write that. We'll get to that.
which is incredibly
Yeah.
racist.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
When we do James Bond year, no, how long would James Bond take?
Oh my!
I think
Lord.
what you
Take
do
half a
is
year.
James Bond. What you would do is you would do the Sean Connery movies, and
That's
then
sort of. I was thinking about
maybe
that. Yeah.
stop for a while and then
Yeah.
do the George Lazenby movie.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just a one-off. Yeah, real quick. Yeah. This never happened to the other guy. That's not how he sounds. He's Australian, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I watched The Man from Hong Kong recently,
Oh, I really want to see that. Yeah.
which has
I
George
have
Lazenby in
that
it
on the
as the
shelf.
villain, and
Yeah.
he's magnificent.
Yeah.
Has one scene where he just gets thrown into a fireplace and is on fire.
Yeah,
for
right.
like
I have
maybe-
seen that scene,
for like
yeah.
5 seconds, long enough for you to feel like, holy shit, what is he going to be okay?
Yeah, it's really him, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's really him. And it doesn't look like he's wearing anything special.
Yeah.
It looks like he just gets thrown in the fire.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Alex? Like, let's sum up the
What can you
Wonka.
identify in this franchise
Yeah.
that
So-
makes it unique?
Well,
it is?
there wasn't a through line between the two previous ones, but then this one is obviously kind of draws a lot more from the original. Even in keeping with some of the production design of the little town it's set in, it's like they almost tried to replicate that kind of weird like Munich, London vibe of the first one, you know?
Yeah.
But in terms, so I don't think there's actually with this specific story and characters, but I do think they might be gearing up for like a Roald Dahl verse, because at the end of this movie during the credits you kind of see the two innkeepers transform and they essentially become the Twits, you know, which is another Roald Dahl book.
Yeah.
And then there was like a production tag at the beginning that was like
Yeah.
the world of
Right.
doll, world
Yeah.
doll or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if they're going to, take
The Roald of Dahl.
or world doll, or
The Roald of Dahl.
Rolled of doll.
And I wonder if they're going to take some of his like unproduced books. I don't know if he has, like, I feel like that man's been like overproduced.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the like sexy, uncomfortable, horny ones, and then I'm sure there's plenty of racist ones they haven't adapted yet.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Think about it. It's cool. Could make a lot of money.
They can just do the same kind of half measure that they did in this one with the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the that's a Warner Brothers, secret game plan for the future. I don't
who
know.
knows?
I'm not necessarily opposed to seeing James and the Giant Peach again, but they have to do it in
Sure.
the exact same way.
Yeah, they would have to be stop motion.
Yeah, with Henry Selick again. Basically make the same movie, but make it like 15 minutes longer because it's quite short.
It's very short. Oh, it's so good.
It is
I love
really
that
good.
movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And bring back CGI Pete Postlewaite.
You know
Yes.
what bothers me about films? You know what bothers me about
Like films in general, yeah.
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 I was looking at this Willy Wonka movie and thinking, like, a lot of the stuff that looks like it could be practical also looks like that it could be computer generated.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
has this blandness to it,
Yeah.
you know?
I do.
Whereas if you think about James and the Giant Peach and, like, the real, like, material
Yeah.
look of everything that's practical in it.
the textures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get wanting to go practical with things. The example I always think of is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that's practical in that film that you wouldn't know because it's designed to look like it's not.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
smoothed it out.
Yeah. And it's, I think the Roald Dahl, like, writing style and the stories that he's telling, rendering them with, like, arts and crafts look is really effective.
Yeah.
And that's part of what the first Willy Wonka, the Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie, is like so effective about. It is like those little paper mache mushrooms and whatever. It's like all looks like
a kid made it almost.
like you made it at summer camp.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll never make a movie look like that if they're spending it, if they have like Timothée Chalamet in it.
For sure.
You know,
Also, don't let Timothée Chalamet anywhere near that Giant Peach.
so true.
That's right. I didn't even think about that.
He be coming.
Oh, I got
so
I got a
much.
message from Jordan here. 7:30 a.m. My king 7:30.
How
And
did,
then,
how
from
did you send
Alex
that? You've been
Schmaltz,
here.
Saying 7:30, my king. Interesting. Anyway, just an observation. Yeah.
Excuse me?
No,
that was
nothing.
really rude of you.
Oh, sorry. Nothing. Everything's fine. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to share private messages. I'm sorry.
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, I understand. I wake up early in the morning and break my fingers and back in physical labor.
Yeah.
And all I
Slice of
ask of
fish.
you is a little reprieve in the form of your beautiful podcast.
Well, I don't know. I'm
talk to
sorry.
me.
I'm
Don't
all right.
talk to me.
All right.
I want to leave. Can we finish this episode?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
How many? What were they called? Hoppy chalks?
Yeah.
Hoppy chocolates?
3 out of 5. in the interest of time, 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Wait, how many do I have to give it out of?
It's a small box of 5 hoppy
Oh,
chalks.
it's a box of 5. Can you make it a different number? Just like a more fun
Give
number.
Jordan a math.
Okay,
question.
20. There's a box of 20 chocolates that make you
Make it
levitate.
an odd number.
23.
23? I would give it like 14 out of 23.
Sure, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Really? You below average?
What's average?
No, wait, you're right. That's above average. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's above the middle.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
average would be the middle. Yeah.
3 to 5.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. Like it was a good kids film. I
think
think
it's like-
kids will love this.
If it's a 3 out of 5, it's a strong 3, I think.
I agree, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's charming.
It's not a
charming.
waste of time.
No, it was fun.
On a rewatch, it might even go up to 3.5 if you're feeling pretty generous or something.
Yeah, but why would you ever watch it again? Do you know what I mean?
I would
feel
rather
that way about
rewatch-
it. Sorry, it's not that bad. I just like.
I'd
why-
rather rewatch this than Charlie.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm never gonna see that movie ever again. It's really not like that bad. It's just grating. I just don't. I
Yeah.
just like.
You're kind of watching and you're
It's
like,
like
why? I'm
nails
not
on
getting
chalkboard.
anything
Yeah,
from
it's
this.
Is it Tim
thing.
Burton one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
check it out. Let us know
Yeah.
what you think.
Isn't the Tim Burton one called Willy Wonka? No,
No,
it is
Charlie.
called Charlie.
Yeah.
The original was Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
And you know what?
So of course. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Our system,
It was
rating
right.
system, we called it
We
last
called it.
episode. It was exactly the same.
This Wonka 2023 was destined to be the second best Willy Wonka movie, and it is.
Yeah.
Number 1, Willy Wonka. Number 2, Wonka.
Wonka.
Number 3,
Epic movie.
Epic Movie. The scene from Epic Movie.
Number 4.
Number 4, the actual physical like Wonka branding that Nestle did.
Do they still sell
despite
Wonka
their
branded?
crimes. Oh, well, if you had listened to the episode, you would know
Is it?
that the
The
Ferrero
Reputation
Group,
Institute,
the
in
Ferrero Group,
conjunction
yeah,
with the
yeah.
powerful cabal out of Boston.
Nestle.
and the reverse vampires.
Wait. Nestle, which literally like
Oh, yeah.
colonizes and steals
Oh, yes.
water
Yes.
from people,
Yeah.
right?
Nestle that
like-
is responsible for untold thousands of deaths.
And then this movie
yeah.
has like, oh well, Willy Wonka, like, yeah, he stole, but he's gonna give it back. But he's gonna give it back in a way where he can still use
It's so
the
funny
people he
that-
stole from. Like, I just think that's fucked up and gross. I don't know.
I don't think Nestle owns Wonka anymore. I think it's,
Okay.
so it's all
Okay.
good. Yeah, everything's fine.
Sorry, I know because we talked like an hour and a half ago about like Top Gun Maverick and Godzilla. And
No,
how, like,
I know.
So maybe I'm making too big a deal out of it. I just really don't
someone
like
has to.
that they're
Yeah.
because I mean it is like co-opting like a political consciousness that's been like really hard fought over the last several decades.
But I'll ask you this. Is this a bad introduction to those kinds of like ideas and thoughts for kids?
Yeah,
You think so?
I
Like you think
think
it's
so.
irresponsible?
Pardon me?
Like you think it would be like, I think like this filters it through so many like, family friendly lenses that I think like if you show this to a kid and you just even to get the conversation started with them, like it's
You know what? Yeah, you have way more experience talking through this kind of stuff. With
Oh, believe
kids
me,
than
I don't.
do. Okay, but like I don't have any
More
kids in my
more than
life,
either of us do.
Sure.
right? So the idea of watching a movie and maybe a child asks like, "What? I don't understand. Why was the Oompa Loompa not his friend at first?" And you say, "Well, like people go to other people's countries and steal things." And I don't know. Maybe that is a good way to open up that conversation with a child.
But there certainly has to be a better way.
100% there is. Yeah, so I don't know. Here's what whether or not it's a good way to introduce those concepts to kids, I can't exactly speak to, but I do think that it's like kind of a cynical and disingenuous co-opting of what like people becoming aware of these concepts and issues and like building them into their brand identity is fucked, I think.
Yeah, of course.
If it's not going to like actually commit to anything, right? Because at the end of the day, Willy Wonka still is like an exploiter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I guess I don't know. It's hard for me to care too much about it because it's like of course, like what are we expecting? I expect so little out of like any of these movies now, these companies to,
Yeah, I expect so little out of it, which is why when they say we're taking a stance, is like, okay, but you're not, like, fuck you.
But
like,
did they, or is this just people, or these are just like people?
Well, they
applying
did
that
in
to-
the film, right? Because they said, well, how do we work Oompa Loompas in?
Right,
How do we
right.
address the fact that he's being exploitative? Well, we'll actually have him have to pay them back.
Yeah.
Right? But then they don't actually do that.
Well, no,
right?
no.
I think that sucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
0 stars.
Maybe I'm being obnoxious. Sorry to all of your beautiful listeners. I'm never coming back. Don't worry. I'm dead. I'm dead. They're about to.
So not true.
Ben's
Yeah.
pulling out his long sickle blade.
No.
Alex has a cat of 9 tails.
I
Jordan
wish.
will be back on the next episode. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
So
we can't really announce the next franchise because we got a couple of sweet Christmas surprises.
yeah, we got some special ring jingle bells, ring ding ding.
I think you're gonna like 'em.
Yeah, we're gonna. There's a special prize that Santa has left under the tree for you.
I wonder what
Don't
it
forget
is.
to leave out milk and cookies
For us.
Yes. For the dangerously obese man who will be delivering your presents.
Keegan Michael Key.
Keegan Michael Key. See, it's funny because in real life he's skinny. Yeah, so we're not going to tell you what the next franchise is, for a lot of reasons. but you'll know when you know, and
Find out soon
relax, and maybe we'll have a special Christmas bonus. None of us are getting Christmas bonuses at work. I don't know. Are you?
I'm not.
No.
They're buying us lunch.
Oh, that's
Oh.
nice. Yeah. No, we don't have any bonus, but we will be giving you, our listener, a Christmas bonus, a Christmas boner. You know what I'm talking about?
Erections.
It's going to be the all 100% horny episode where we go through and we say, Jennifer Lawrence is so beautiful.
Hot-
young Hugh Grant, so beautiful.
Lair of the White Worm, Hugh Grant.
Oh my God, yes.
Beautiful.
That was such a good movie.
Beautiful.
Put his white worm in my lair.
Hey.
Awooga.
Bonk, bonk. Yeah. Horny jail. We're all going off to horny jail now. Anyway, I hope you have a good December, not quite Christmas time yet, but
Die Hard
almost
season.
Christmas time. Die Hard
Enjoy
season.
watching all the Die Hards.
Yep. They're all Christmas movies, especially
A Good Day to Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die Hard, the Russian one. Jordan, do you have anything you want to say? Christmas feelings and cheer, holidays, anything?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
I just hope that this Christmas or this winter season, if you don't celebrate Christmas, whatever you're up to, if you're listening to this show, I just hope you have a little bit of peace in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just hope that you feel good. I hope you have at least one moment when you feel really at peace with yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all.
Wow.
That's a really beautiful way of putting it. And I would like to steal that and echo that hope that there's at least one moment in the episode where you feel normal and nice, as we all strive to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not just filled with anxiety
and dread and fear and pain and disgust at the world.
and you're at yourself.
Yeah. And maybe when you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you do the repetition that I do every day, be nice, be normal, be nice, be normal. Maybe you won't have to do it.
Oh.
Because you will feel nice and normal because of us. Let's all give ourselves a pat on the back, eh?
Here comes the helicopter. Second time today. Everybody scatters and hopes it goes away.